I run full speed on a beach cruiser into the front quarter panel of a cop car with a stolen stop sign hammered on a bicycle.
Yes.
Boom! We are not a lift kit and a mud flap fucking shop. We build heavy duty performance suspension. It might not, we've got levels of what you want to do with that, but it is in no way, shape, or form just a lift kit. I could not have pitched that idea to anybody. And they go, oh, I like it. It's, oh, you're gonna make an off-road Porsche.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Yeah.
So I knew I could never do it. Like the easy way would be philosophy of if you build it, they will come.
You park those side by side, and I don't care. I mean, that's probably a $3 million vehicle.
I know.
I'm guessing. I'm taking yours all day long.
Got to do the Nitro Circus deal.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the MGM episode where there's this dumbass in a single seat buggy that jumped the freestyle ramp?
No. That was you?
Yeah.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of Oil and Whiskey. This week, in person, TJ Russell Built Fabrication.
Sirs, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Yeah, big fans of you guys for a long time. I think most people in the industry have looked at you guys as inspiration, and you guys have built a great brand. And as a fellow builder in the industry, you know, we all kind of find inspiration and see who's doing what. And I always looked up to you guys to.
Well, we spent about 2.5 hours at your booth at Scottsdale at Barrett Jackson getting inspiration.
Oh, you were
at
there?
least
we got all the inspiration.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
At least that's what Jeremy and Phil said they were doing. I think that they were like ready to make a purchase, but we can call it inspiration.
It's it's very easy to make like a real bad financial decision when you're looking at those. Not to say it's bad; they're badass vehicles.
Thank you.
But like I'm not in a position where I should be buying one. But yeah, I really want to buy one.
You're just lucky enough to get to build them. Yeah, one day.
So cool. But yeah, I think I speak for these guys. I mean, we've been huge fans of you ever since you, for us, kind of I think just came like seemingly out of nowhere at SEMA and just like blew everybody's minds. And that debut of that first car was like, holy shit. I mean, I remember seeing some stuff leading up to it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of teasers, but
yeah, I've just been a massive fan ever since. So.
Much appreciated.
Pleasure to have you here, man.
That was the day that started it all. I think that's where I met you guys. And
yeah, that spot where you were at, and then just walking up, and you're, like you said, you saw a couple teasers, you know, and it's hard to, when it's somebody that you don't know, it's hard to know what it's going to be like, you know?
Yep.
And then you see it in person, you're like, oh, shit. And it instantly at that point, like, I think that was probably the first thing we saw. That's how we went in. So we had just gotten there.
at SEMA.
Right, at SEMA. Yeah. We just walked, we don't even get inside yet. We're just walking up. We see that, and instantly it's like, we got to figure out how to get in touch with him. He's got to come to the party. Like that's how fast that was. Like, this thing's fucking cool. Super cool.
Man, we hit the fast track for sure. Relatively nobody, you know, and I spent the better part of about 1.5 years making that prototype. Just me. Had a couple guys come in and help from time to time, but just hunkering down and that whole philosophy of if you build it, they will come. You know, I could not have pitched that idea to anybody.
Yep.
And they go, oh, I like it. It's, oh, you're gonna make an off-road Porsche.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Yeah.
So I knew I could never do it. Like the easy way would be make some renders, find some people that you think might be interested, pitch it, have it fund it, and that wasn't the case. I had saved up. I lived in my shop, was single, no kids, and for about 9 years I saved every dollar. And I was like, all right, I have a year. I give myself a budget to live off of, and then a budget to build the car. And I was like, you know what? If I don't do this, I'm gonna regret it. I think there's something here. Hunkered down, did everything I could. I made a conscious effort to try and document everything I was doing. Every part, every build. It's really easy to, I know a lot of shops nowadays and a lot of these big name builders hide a lot of this stuff. It's secretive. And I'm kind of learning why now. I've kind of transferred a little bit. Okay. At some point when you are on the radar, people are going to, they're going to watch you a little bit heavier. And at that time I was like, I'm going to show everything, every cut, every weld, underneath, all of it, to just try and show people what we were doing. And when we showed up to SEMA that day, it was, we unloaded. I finished the car at like 2 a.m. the night before move in. You know, we're based out of Los Angeles. Vegas is only a 5-hour drive. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Great to have you. Great to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
So 5 hours, got it there, and that was 2 months of 18-hour days. No joke. I lost 25 pounds building that car, and I'm a little guy. I didn't have anything to lose, but I just had this like unwavering motivation that I have to do this. This is the place to make it.
Was it? I've got to get this out of my head and see it, or was it?
I need to.
I think there's a market for it.
It was straight up. So, you guys know my history a little bit.
Well, we're gonna get.
We'll get there. But it was.
We can start there right now.
No, we'll get there. But I'll tell you that we'll jump forward a little bit. It was a blend of this industry, and we'll get there. This Porsche world has no idea how badass the off-road fabrication, technology, engineering side of things are. Right, the two industries are completely disconnected. Off-road guys usually don't give a shit about Porsches. Porsche guys think that off-road guys are Neanderthals, right? And so there was a time where like the safari scene kind of picked up. There was a few guys doing it. Safaris have been around since the 80s. Mm-hmm. You know, Porsche famously won the Paris to Dakar race, one of the most infamous races in the world. And so it's nothing new. However, there's these cars showing up, all-terrain tires, mud flaps, and a light, and people are like shitting themselves over it. I'm like, dude, there's nothing, like, it's not any more capable than a stock car.
It's just got
off-road
tires.
I see it.
You gain like a little bit more speed bump clearance.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's it.
It's got a rubber lift
and
on
so,
it.
lived in SoCal, raced motocross. I've been in off-road all my life. A bunch of the people I'm around, a bunch of my friends are in, like, talented fabricators in the off-road scene, and I saw a disconnect. And in a world that we're in, almost everything's been done, you know, especially today. In a lot of industries, you're trying to refine things, but to break out and do something never really done is rare, seeing that opportunity.
For sure.
And so it clicked. I was like, if I don't do this, I'd draw pictures and do some renders and I took some time. I didn't just jump into it. It was about a year of a build up. Like, should I do this? This is crazy. We'll just wait and see, keep going. And it just hit me. I was like, we have to do this. There's something that could be so awesome and groundbreaking and epic, and it's super niche. By no means did I ever expect to like sell 100 of them, and we're not there yet. But high end, high quality, keep the engineering on par, keep fabrication on par, design, like all those aspects, and just take it to the top. It's an expensive car to start with. It's an expensive idea, and it doesn't need to be budget friendly. And just took it from there. I was like, all right, let's try this. If it doesn't work, I've got a really cool car I can sell, and I can get on with my fab career. That was my background anyway, so I had nothing to lose.
Well, let's get into like the background then, because a lot of this will start making more sense along the way. But I don't want to miss on, you know, we talk about it every fucking time. There's always that moment, you know, the sacrifice moment. You know, that's full blown sacrifice. I hope nobody's like blowing by that. Of there's the time that you had to donate your labor. You got that first customer and you did that. This was straight up. Ain't nobody gonna tell me. It's in my head. It's in my mind. I'm gonna sacrifice. I'm gonna save money. It does help, like you said, single, no kids. I mean, that was the only reason.
That's where the money came from.
And it wasn't much longer.
Dude's living in his shop. Of course, he's fucking single.
Yep. But it wasn't much. It was a year late. Actually, I found out I was going to be a dad to a little girl the day that we were on stage for Battle of the Builders.
Dude, this is like a fairy tale.
So it started with nothing to lose, gung ho, and it ended. I got something to really shoot for here, and I got to make it work.
That's cool.
Wow,
it was nuts.
They give me chills. Like that's a day or a fucking week. That's a week.
I'm excited to get kind of deep in the weeds on that one because we've had so many people on this podcast, all like hot rod builders, kind of in our immediate industry, and you know the struggles kind of the same. Everybody is sort of pushed the same, sort of made the same sacrifices, but from the little bit we've talked, I mean, that sounds like an epic story of like determination and just getting after it. So
what's the background?
Legos, models, depending on how far you want to go back.
Well, that's a good place to start.
Models before Legos, right?
No, Legos first. little kid, 5. I was glued to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't glue Legos. That's the models.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was tired of dropping them and breaking them, so you started gluing them together. Yeah. No, that's where it all started. Looking back now, you go, well, where did I get this? Well, it was that.
In SoCal?
Models. No, I grew up in Colorado. I didn't move out. I had this, and we'll get into that, but didn't move to SoCal until I was 20. Another dream in, Cali. The whole dream of greater things. But Legos, models. I raced motocross from the time I was 5 till 21, 22. And Dad did well. I was very lucky that we had motorcycles and had time to go race. But Dad worked till 6 every night, and I had to figure out real quick how to work on the bike. And I think I did my first top end when I was 11 years old.
What kind of bike?
It would have been a KX60.
Good for you.
That's a Widowmaker right there.
Yeah.
That is. I'm about to be 42, and I'm just getting ready to do my first top end, believe it or not, on an 85. So I made it a long time without having to yard a little motor apart.
So it was about necessity, really. Just somebody there had to always maintain the bikes, but I had a neighbor that was very savvy mechanic and moto dude who would kind of here's what you do, guide you here, and go through all that. And it's not just that, but my whole mom's side, the Jacobs they had a service center since 1950 in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
So all my mom's brothers were all into race cars, hot rods, cars. So every summer I'd go up, they'd stick me in the engine bay and hand me tools, and that was my summer job. So looking back, it makes sense now.
Helps.
But I will tell you, through high school, the first part of college, I had no aspirations of automotive. I was a moto guy. I was freestyle motocross. I was going to move to LA to do stunts.
Sweet.
And get paid to crash instead of doing it for free.
Yeah.
What year were you in high school?
Graduated in 01.
Oh, okay.
So you're like just before backflips?
I was the third person in the world to do a backflip.
No shit.
Whoa, what about that?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, I'm just trying to feel out the era. I'm trying to remember the era.
Cool story.
Yeah.
It was right.
I got a friend.
Me and Phil were into motocross, but it was more like 1 footer or maybe a no footer. Phil was better. Phil would whip some stuff, but certainly no backflips.
Yeah, so racing and did all that, and then got big into freestyle. I was always a showman and got big into freestyle. Like that was it.
That's
and got big into the pit bike scene.
Oh, yeah,
Which was it was like the time of my life. Got to travel, and for a year I made a living riding a little pit bike.
Really?
So that was cool. I rode for the Ball Steel stunts, did that crazy.
Wow.
Rode in that crazy ball and did freestyle. So anyway, that was the motivation to get out of Colorado and go to LA. And I had a connect in LA, Ted Moser, owned a company called Picture Car Warehouse. And so when I moved out there, my first job was building cars for the studios. So a little bit of a mechanical background and know
Isn't his location real close to Sean from Autotopia?
Yeah.
All that's one he's always talking about.
Yeah, I remember it.
All in the same area. So that was I was like thrown with the wolves into that and really got I learned how to weld in high school shop class, but nothing like today. So just learn how to melt two pieces together.
But that was also, I mean, that isn't exactly giving you the taste of, no offense, this isn't it, the highest end fabrication of pleasing a customer that's spending big money. Y'all are getting it done for a movie.
Yeah, stepping stone. So it was more of a prop, right? And but it got me, the second I learned and figured out really the tricks and trades of welding, I was hooked.
Timelines had to be stupid, didn't they?
It was well, so that's part of the, horrible. So you learned how to get things done quickly, efficiently. Were they show quality? Nope.
TV show quality.
Yep. But you needed to hold together to do its job, whether it was a stunt car or if it was a hero car that needed to look good. But that was.
What kind of stuff was coming out of there? I mean, what, any notable movies or TV shows?
Tons of movies. The very first big job when I stepped in was that movie Taxi with Queen Latifah, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, yeah.
These crazy Transformer taxis. But anyway, my first job, I said, here you go. We need these headlights to fold out. We need rockets to come out of them. And here's some interior pieces. Laid me the drawing and said, here you go. And I was 20.
Are the engineers laying that all out, or you figuring it out of the way?
No,
Just like gate hinges and a MIG welder.
Creative. Yeah, just some sheet metal. Got some hinges. Went and got a pneumatic actuator and figured it all out. And
That's cool.
and that was like my first, like, oh shit, okay. I had nobody to really like guide.
Huh.
I was like, this is your task. All right. So
3 days.
Anyway, so that is the stepping stone of getting into the fabrication bug. And I was just obsessed with becoming better with that. And I'd read and watch videos, and any spare time I had, I'd sit there and take scraps and weld, and just kind of, I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. The motorcycle thing was tired of breaking myself off, getting concussions, and
Yeah, this filled that void.
Yep.
Now you got to consume everything about it and learn everything about it.
Yep.
You know, especially when it's brand new.
And it added, and I loved building things as a kid, but I was limited to what screwdrivers and screws and drills. And so this added a whole new facet of like, all right, now I can melt shit together.
Yeah.
Whole new, window.
Yeah, its possibilities are endless now.
Yep. And so that's the short of it, but that was the bug into this whole.
How long were you at Picture Cars?
On and off, 3 years. I took some time off and went and did some stunts and did motorcycle stuff and came back, and
It's like the California way. Everybody's gets it's like gig work.
it was. It's like whatever, and I'm a firm believer now of like, I'm really happy with the path. Each chance I took, and this goes back to, we'll get into it, taking a chance. I had $1,100 to my name, a truck, my dirt bikes, and clothes. And that's when I came to LA. Like, let's see what happens. There's going to be a path. Something's going to open up.
There's always the
Whether it be
adult
stunts.
film industry.
Yeah.
Push comes to shove.
Stunt man. So yeah, like every path that opens up, you got to put yourself in the doorway and then figure out if you're going to go through it or not. And that was a big one. And then I told you I rode for Ball Steel Stunts.
Yeah.
So for a couple months, we got to go tour all of Europe. Got paid to ride a bike. We got paid pretty well. So I came back with $20,000 to my name. Rented a shop, rented 1,500 square feet right there in Sun Valley. And I said, all right, well, when I get, I got to be smart with this. I don't want to blow it on something stupid, go buy a car, a bunch of stuff. So I was like, let's open up a shop. Had all the tools already from previous gig, and built a hot rod, built a couple off-road cars, and we were in a really cool complex. It was like a 20-unit complex. Everybody in there was in automotive. We had painters, we had some mechanics.
Building these for customers or for yourself?
Just whoever.
Hey, I do
Whatever I
shit.
could do.
Come,
Yep.
come see me.
Yep. And one of our neighbors did upholstery. Comes knocking. He goes, TJ, there's this guy Rob Dickinson, Singer Vehicle Design, right across the street from me. I hadn't met him yet. So there's this guy looking for a fabricator. He builds Porsches. I'm like, Porsches? All right, well, I'm not going to turn down work, right? So I go over there and meet him, and it's literally like this
This is their first location?
first location. This is back in, I don't even know what the date is. Figure it out later. Walk over there, meet him. It's a junkyard. It's literally, Sun Valley is a shithole. There's salvage yards, a dump. This building was pretty run down, and walk in and meet everybody. And there's this black shell of a car there, and that was the very first 964 Singer. So we need a fabricator. So I can do that. A couple tasks here, a couple tasks there, and it just grew and grew and grew. And there was about 6 of us there at the beginning. And that's where it all started. So I was there for 10 years.
Wow.
Built the first 172 Singers came through my.
What year did
little
that start?
shop.
What year did you kick that off?
Oh, we'd have to look back. I want to say, let's see, I was there for 10 years. I want to say 12 or 13. I'd have to look back through the chronicles and photos to see when that was. But
Man, those dudes
was-
have had some explosive growth.
it was so cool. It's so cool to look back. And I'm so, once again, that's your avenue in life. I wasn't out searching to work on Porsches. I didn't really know much about them. And it wasn't until a couple years in when I really got bit by the bug. Like, these cars are awesome. I see why people freak out about them. They're awesome made. The engineering's epic, and they just have a great following. But
That could not, I didn't know that, honestly. This was a surprise. But I'm looking back thinking what we were just talking about, like picture cars.
yep,
You could not even begin to create more polar opposite from get it done for the movie, right? Or the TV show or whatever it is, to now It's going to take some time. It's going to cost a shit ton of money.
Yep.
But
And it's got to be.
we're striving for the unattainable
Yep.
perfection.
Yep. Yeah, two polar opposites actually. And you wouldn't think that one you could work at one and be an acceptable employee of quality on the other, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. But I think that's like you said, it's the journey and the process. That's well rounded.
Was that business plan when you first got started there and you're fabricating on this #1 Porsche? Was that business plan like established by them that like, hey, we're going to get this one done, and guess what? Like, we're probably going to be doing tens of thousands of them, or was it like
no.
we're going to build a really cool Porsche?
it was exactly like I told you about my business. It's like, let's see. They built, so I was the very first 964. I think they'd previously built 2 cars off of G-body stuff before they realized that, I don't want to speak for them, but before they realized it's best if we just start with the better model instead of putting all this money into suspension and everything and doing still having a subpar car of the next series available.
Okay.
So that's when everything completely started over, retooling.
But Rob's just got a vision. He had a vision.
Yeah,
and he had to see it.
Yep. Well, I think it all started, he built a car for himself and had a couple people reach out and go, I love this, build me one. And I think for him, it was more of a natural thing too. It wasn't forced or planned. It was just, that's kind of how it came to be. And it just turned into a crazy monster. But yeah, we started out and did 1 car a month for a couple years, and then we doubled production. And by the time it was done, we were doing 4 a month out of our little shop, and couldn't have been more grateful. Like, we ended well. It turned into such a giant business and animal, and I couldn't, they're like, do you want to come work here full time? And I still did everything in our shop, and I liked freedom to do some other stuff. But at that time it was 9 years and 172 cars later, and I was like, you know what, it's time for me to kind of branch out and maybe do something.
Been there, done that.
Well,
Right?
that makes all the sense in the world of how you see in this, Porsche market, this niche market, but you got that itch of off-road and, and off-road is so like broad of a term, off-road could mean so many different things, but from a motocross background, then that's off-road fast, so that's where I see when you look at, your vehicles, it's off-road fast, it doesn't look.
Yeah, it's not rock.
It looks nimble.
Yeah,
It looks.
There's
it
Midwest.
looks-
There's Midwest off road, and then there's West Coast
SoCal,
off-road.
yeah.
It just looked like the most fun vehicle to drive that's ever been built. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, I want to get behind the wheel of one.
And that's what made
so bad.
it.
It was like a dirt bike with 4 wheels.
And that's what like made sense to me. I'm sitting there and looking at these, and when these chassis are bare, like you can see everything where you need to go. It's just open for interpretation, right? And you do that for 10, 20, 30, 40 of them, and you're like, man, I see this could be so awesome. And so you start planning some stuff out, saving a little money, and I finally dropped the hammer and bought a Cabriolet 964. Okay. Like, all right, this is it. So I figure cabs are cheaper, they're more readily available, nobody wants them.
Yep.
And pick one up for cheap. And then it started it actually turned into a pretty cool story because we took the most flimsy, sporty 911 they made and turned it into this off-road monster. So there's a couple reasons. It was a cheaper donor. Number 2, when you're putting the cage in, you don't have to sit up there and
easy to weld
break
the
your
top
back
side,
to
right?
360 weld and do all that. You know what I mean? And then the story behind using a cab for an off-road car would just be cool. So that's where that I held on to that car for about a year and measured and drove it and did all this stuff before.
So you're living at the shop
trigger.
when you're working for Singer,
Yep.
saving your money,
Oh yeah.
doing your
Every
thing,
dollar.
crafting skill,
Every dollar.
doing stuff.
Yep.
When does how long into working for Singer does it start crafting the idea? Or are you always thinking about what's next?
No,
and it
so
just
it was a year of thought. I bought the car and another year of planning. So this was it spent 2 years figuring if this made sense. It's really, I come on crazy ideas all the time. And it's best to sometimes not jump on them right away. You're like, let me simmer, let it cook a little bit.
some holes
See.
in it.
Yeah, exactly. See what happens. And so, it was about 2 years into the philosophy of like what this could be and coming up with a game plan and then finally deciding to pull the trigger or not. Cause I knew it was expensive. Like I had no money, when this all started, the the bulk of the savings that I had from riding was the most money I ever had. I've lived paycheck to paycheck for 5 years to that point. And then I had $20,000. Like, man, this is nuts. What can I do with this? And like I said, I didn't want to waste it. I had to be mindful of what we did with it. And I kind of lived by that the whole time working there. I'd buy new machinery, buy new tools, mill, lathe. And so every dollar I spent, I probably only bought a couple pairs of jeans a year, but every dollar I spent was tools and equipment and welders. And I was obsessed with it. I had nothing else to really focus on, it was just learning building, not just fabrication, but all the other aspects. Composites got big, engineering, how things work, not just melting them together, kind of, became part of the deal, and just immersed myself in it.
Was there any sort of like an aha moment when you're at Singer, you like assembling the suspension and it's like, it's hanging there waiting to connect the strut and you're like, huh.
Lots of
got this, huh? Like,
lots of little moments. So I never
in it, or like,
lots of little ideas of like, all right, we got to get rid of this strut. First of all, the strut's the limiting factor. You only have so much travel. It's bad travel at some point. Not strong enough. You're relying on a sleeve and a shaft to hold the whole front end on. So there's like things along the way. You're like, trailing arm, it's good. Like trailing arms, you can do a lot with trailing arm suspension. Let's figure out how to get rid of the strut, and that's how that shock tower thing came to be.
Cool.
But lots of little like ahas, but mostly aesthetic. Like, does this work? Like, the body's got to look right. It can't just look like we put Jeep fenders on this Porsche and like have people freak out. And I knew that it had to be. I learned that from the days at Porsche of how focused like Rob was on the aesthetics and the DNA. And
but you're not working with any renderings at this point. So you got 2 years in, and now you're like, all right, I'm gonna start actually physically fucking with it.
Just doodles, like just hand, nothing. I'm still not savvy with like CAD.
So what's the first thing when you roll that cabriolet in there and you're like, we're building it, we're working on it, we're going to actually do this? What's the first, you tear it down, what's the first thing you start doing?
Suspension. Everything is built around the suspension. You get that to work, figure out the width, and
you just mocking up wheels and tires around where you're wanting it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it just starts with a tape measure, figuring out how wide you can go before it's ridiculous, right? Yep. How much ground clearance you need, what tire you can fit.
Did you factor trailer dimensions into that at all?
Trailer? No, it was such a small car. I'm not even worried. Like it as it is, that the Baja that we built ended up being 14 inches wider, and it still fits in the trailer. It's a little car to start with.
You can go too wide.
So, I wanted to bring in. I wasn't an expert in engineering. Like, I read a lot of books and felt like I knew, but I wanted to bring in somebody that I really trusted, and that was Igor at Triton. Oh. He was local guy there in the valley, and we became buddies through social media and whatnot. And he was one guy who I thought would dig this. I said, "Hey, hear me out. This is weird. I know you build trophy trucks and Ultra 4s, but I want a long travel in 911. He goes, fuck yeah. I go, awesome. That's all I needed to hear.
That's cool.
Not somebody go, oh, well, fuck, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. He was like, this is sweet.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
great. All right, so part of it was like, I want you to care and think that this is awesome.
Yeah.
So everybody in our little bubble and corner, I made sure that none of them thought like, oh, it's just a job. Like, I'll take his money, but I don't really care. But he was like stoked. So I put him, here's the parameters, here's the width I want. We're going to stretch the wheelbase. Scanned a car. I got a full chassis scan, handed it off to him, and waited a couple months, and he had a kind of a design ready, and we implemented, went back and forth on how it was all going to work, and that was the prototype setup on that white car that we just debuted at SEMA.
I didn't realize he was the guy behind that, because it's definitely has his DNA on it. Like,
yeah, the Gen 1 stuff was, we had welded, fabricated arms. They're now billet. We've changed, we've evolved immensely, but the first aspect of that was fabricated, welded arms. I go, let's trophy truck, smaller sports car. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. And so he billet uprights, welded chromoly, heat treated towers, and
so now you're building the suspension. You get the suspension on it. You've got wheels and tires on it. Now you got to make the body flow with all that shit.
Yep. This is my favorite part of like any build now. Telling you down there, like, bringing people in house to help you run stuff and not micromanage. I stepped away from all that so I can do my favorite thing in the world is to create and design and fab. So I still spend most of my days behind the welding mask. And then on about the bodywork, that was my favorite part. So sit back, put the thing on jack stands. We built the suspension, took the coils off so we could cycle everything.
Yep.
Got carver's foam, ordered some of that specialty modeling foam, expanding foam, grew the fenders, and just started shaping away until it became right. And I didn't go to trade school, modeling, designing. It just kind of sat there, carved, filled it. The front fenders came out awesome the first time. So I had this idea, let's not just make these fenders crazy wide. The Porsche is a small car. Yep. Let's stretch the whole fender out first. So the headlights came with it. So we cut the fenders off right at the hood line, pulled them out 2 inches, which gave it that big vent at the back of the back of the fender. Widened everything out, made it a little more proportionate, so it wasn't just these Jeep flares on it, and just started carving. Yeah, if you go back, you got to go back to day one. But one of my favorite pictures. So I basically modeled the whole right side of the car in the shop, and then scanned that. Go way, way, way back. Yeah, I just modeled it until I thought it looked right, and nothing bothered me, and everybody that came by says, this is awesome, and listened to a lot of people critique, but at the same time, just didn't take it to heart. Everybody's got a little different taste.
How do you weed through that when you've got some people who maybe absolutely hate it? You got to stick to your guns to some extent, but at the same time, you want to be open-minded because it's got to be, has to be a likable thing, and you want to make sure you're not building like some bastard child. Right?
That's more an issue now, but back then there was like 4 people, a couple buddies, and a couple neighbors who were into Porsches who heard what we were doing who would stop by. But at that time, it was like 5. It was, when I say like underground hole in the wall, that was it. That was, there you go. That's part of it right there. That's the start.
So that front fender you split and shoved outboard.
Yep. So if you keep going back, you'll see some photos of the stitch and the seam. But yeah, pulled the whole thing out. And then,
which is what gave you that overlap at the door.
Exactly.
Huh?
Yep.
Oh, you broke it.
Pulled the tires out, or pulled the headlights out with it. So. But that's my favorite part. So we've got, now to date, we've got several different models. We're doing a new 993 right now, which I'm so looking forward to getting out there and building the bodywork and designing and getting to do that fun stuff. That's
the prototype. After you scan that, is that straight into like a plug part out of foam, or is it like shaping it out of metal?
Scanned it just to refine all the things that I miss. I could have spent another month on that, making it absolutely perfect if we were going to make a mold on that part.
Yep.
But I wanted to scan it, digitize it so it's in the system, had everything mirrored, and then at that time it was new to me, but the whole tech of CNC carving foam was all new, and so I hired a company a prop company actually from my network of movie stuff in the industry, a prop guy that had a big gantry. So we bought all the foam and had him carve everything out and made molds, and that was the start of it. Yeah.
So, at what point in time in the build process did you decide where and when you were going to debut this?
It's funny, about halfway through, Stan at Toyo reached out, said, "Hey, can we come meet you? Like, we're all kind of fans. We're seeing what you're doing, and we want to come just check it out." I was like, "Oh, this is cool. The big wig at Toyo wants to come see what we're doing." So, came down and offered us a spot at that year's SEMA to debut it. And so at that point, it was gung ho. Before, I was just as on the weekends. I still had a full time, gig doing other stuff with Singer. It wasn't until like halfway through that I had completely stopped what we were doing there. But what really put the things into motion was Stan giving us an opportunity to debut the car in the Toyo booth, which I was like, this is huge. I was just gonna I didn't really have a game plan of how we were gonna debut it. I just knew I had to keep working on it until it was done, and whatever happened then. But it was just it's something that worked out, and it worked out really, really well, because the day we pulled the cover off of it at SEMA, like, changed the whole trajectory of the business.
That's what I want to get into.
It was nuts.
Yeah, that's a great comment, because that comes up a lot. We talk about is you get there's 2 different camps. Some people are like, SEMA, it's just no big deal. Where the rest of the world is like, dude, that's the place to debut a car.
Yeah.
If you want to
both.
Yeah.
It's both.
I suppose.
Yeah, if you use it right, it's
Yeah.
just like a tool.
Yeah.
If you use it to its maximum capability, can be life changing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just another car in a mix of 3,000 that blend in.
Well, it certainly depends on the car,
Yep.
right? And what the marketing
Yours
behind
didn't
it.
just blend in.
Yeah, yours by no means blended in.
Yeah, it was an eye opener.
But I continue
really
to
an eye opener.
I continue to be in the camp of like that's the place to debut a car.
I mean, there's no broader of an audience.
Right.
There's no more.
The social media,
Yeah.
just the eyes from every different area of the industry or all different industries.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
the
where you're going to
marketing,
get seen.
marketing perspective of it.
It's going to blow up there.
Plan it right? I think it'd be hard. I don't know that I don't know that it would have been the same had I had a little spot out in the parking lot with everybody else. You know, you'd have to like really hope that people saw it. And
Yeah.
but for sure being highlighted in that tread pass area, and Stan they already set up media. They already had set up interviews and photographers. So it was just perfect storm of
Well, yeah,
nitrous button, so to speak, for the business. It was nuts.
there's. I want to like slow down and talk about that experience, because there's the week or 2 or 3 weeks before SEMA, and that I don't know if anybody knows this, but
That's a blur.
that deadline doesn't move. Like SEMA, we've tried to have them move it, like push it back a couple of days.
They won't do it, huh?
It cannot be moved.
We got pretty close with COVID.
Yeah, believe it or not, that
They pushed
that
it back a year.
that
Still
comes-
still barely made it though.
yeah, it comes every year, once a year, right?
I think they should get a project management fee for getting people's cars done simply by having the show every year.
Yeah, and walk around outside though. That's
They're not quite done.
Yeah, done-ish.
It's not fun.
yeah.
That's
So there's that, and it's like this is real, right? This is an opportunity, and we gotta hit. And then there's the unveiling moment. There's the time that everybody's, especially for you and somebody in your shoes at that point in time, because it is important. It seems important. It seems in any time you're unveiling a car, even if you're not unveiling, you're just bringing something. It's important. There's also like after you've done it 15 cars, right? You're happy with your creation. The customer's happy and stuff like that. There's a little bit more confidence in like some people are going to like it. Some people won't. Not a big deal. The first time you have no history, you have no builds under your belt. You're not like, this is it.
it was huge.
Yeah. It's a kind of a make it or break it kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, it was like welcome to the big leagues. You know what I mean? Like,
What was the confidence level going in? You finished it. You're staring at it in the shop. You're about to load it up. Are you like,
3 a.m.
fuck yeah?
no, I cried. Like we started that car up when I say it was 2 months of 18-hour days. We'd finish up at like till I just was absolutely exhausted, and I'd go sleep till 7 or 8, wake up, do it all over again, and it was just this like.
Could anybody hang with you on doing those hours?
No, I had a couple guys that came, but they would throw in the towel at like midnight,
Right.
you know, or come in a little late.
Like, fuck you, I gotta
buddies.
drive home.
and
You're already
and,
home.
I'm so blessed. Like a lot of these guys had jobs, so
Yeah.
they were. I was a massive help. I'm not going to talk shit on
I
anybody
know.
because they didn't make it, but I had a, and this goes back from motocross and wrestling. Like I had this unwielding, like I'm going to fucking win. I'm not going to lose. This car is going to be there and it's going to be awesome. And that was it. It was, nothing mattered. Food, eating.
Are you
Health.
Are you supplementing with? Is this like Mountain Dews?
No,
What are we talking? Coffee?
no.
What's how you pulling
dude,
the hours?
the typical fucking energy drink that I'm still addicted to, that stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it was just breakfast burritos. I mean, we had a good burrito spot close by that was easy, and that was it.
We're going to pause for just a second and ask something I think that's very critical. You said the typical energy drink.
Yep.
He's a motocross
It's
guy.
fucking Rockstar, right? You're
No, it was
That's a
well.
monster.
Yeah, it's switched through the years, but
Okay.
it was Monster.
I was going to say
Oh, okay. Sorry.
it's Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see Rockstar early on in the motocross.
There's no rock star left after Tim Strange's drink it all. Tim Strange is the only, but it's Monster because it was
motocross,
motocross. You know, I mean, Red Bull's
It was Red
far
Bull. and you're
superior
like, there's
drink,
so much
but-
sugar in that thing. Like I need to cut down. So then you go to the sugar-free Monsters, and you double it up. You get the big one, so you can go a little harder. You don't feel so bad
Yeah.
because as long as you're not drinking that much sugar,
you're
all right.
already making
Yeah.
poor health decisions by by putting your body through what you're putting it through. We've talked about this a couple of times.
And beer. I mean, beer would come out. Anybody would come by to see what you're doing and bring a beer, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, yes, I'll take a beer."
Hydration.
There's water in that.
The intake of types of food, from snack food to fast food to energy drinks to fucking stackers back in the day. The hygiene that you're able to, how many times you're able to actually like take a real fucking shower of those times, and the amount of time that you're depriving of your body for sleep, it's got to be the most dangerous, unhealthy experience.
Yeah, it can't be good.
You can do it now. I couldn't do that. And we've had some late ones here recently, but at 40 years old, like I couldn't do that now. Yeah. This only worked because I was early 30s, mid 30s.
I think I got one more in me.
What?
You think so?
I think I got one more.
Yeah. I'd be willing to give it a shot. It's been a minute.
I don't think it'd be like it was, but I got one more.
There's going to be 10 more.
605.
Not till we're retired is there going to be another break. There's Barrett Jackson or there's always a excuse. Yeah. Even though every time you're like, I swear this is the last time.
We're never doing this again.
Nope.
It never ends.
No, there always is.
And you go there, you get all the awards, you get people talking about it, you just ride the high. You're like, fuck we're going out for the next show.
Adrenaline is the thing that nobody took. Adrenaline can heal every wound. It can regenerate fucking limbs. It can fix everything, because you can go for those 2 weeks.
It's like a drug. It's like it's very temporary.
100% temporary, but it gets
get more.
But a SEMA lasts for 4 or 5 days. So you've gone without sleep and making poor life choices for 3-4 weeks.
Only to make more for 3 or 4 days.
Make more, but that adrenaline, you get there and you're like, man, I haven't slept in a long time, but I'm not that tired.
And you're okay.
I'm good.
I said you got in shape. Like it took the first couple weeks were like the most brutal.
Yeah.
But toward the end, it was like I'd wake up, you're like, oh, we got shit to build. Like, let's go.
Yep.
It wasn't like, oh God, I can't do this. It was like,
and
no,
you're seeing the shit that you've been thinking about for so fucking long.
The assembly part, you know how awesome assembly is?
Come to
like
fruition.
You're like, oh, tomorrow the fucking hubs came.
Yep. Yeah. We get to do this, and this. We've been waiting on that part to be able to do.
When you're like unwrapping parts that have been coated,
it's
or
Christmas
something,
for 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like
the assembly is different. Assembly is a different level of being able to push because the finish line's closer.
Yeah.
Stakes are higher too.
Yeah, and you're closing in on that finish line, and it's obtainable. Like you can kind of rationalize with yourself if it can be done.
Yeah.
Like
and everything's been raw or primered for like most of your car's life.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I know it's coming back from anode today, or like.
And there's always that one thing. There's always the one
best
thing that makes 11 more dominoes fall. Right? It's the, we're waiting on, hubs or whatever bracket, and that is holding up. Finalizing the front suspension, to hang the fenders, to hang the front end, to be able to put the hood on, to then be able to put the windshield. Like, whatever it is. Like, well, we can't even see the front end until we get that one fucking part. Yeah. Like, let's... Yeah. Then, once those dominoes fall, you're like, holy shit, we went from no car to all car, like, tonight.
Yeah. But it takes some stamina to push through. Like, when you're in fab, the finish line's so far away to be holding that pace, even, like, back then. Which is probably why maybe you don't, and you end up burning those hours at the end, because it's tough to push like that at that stage in the build, to be like 18-hour days over and over and over again.
In fabricating.
Yeah, and sometimes you're going backwards, right? There was times where like you were so tired you made a mistake on a couple brackets.
Yep.
Or like you traced them backward and bent them backward, and you're like, oh, and you just toss it, throw it away, and go, all right, do it again. Or go home and sleep. Yeah. Like that's usually the time you're like, all right, it's time. That part told me I fucked up and it's time to start over. Go get some sleep, come back and do it again. But when we were going back to, we pushed that car out of the shop at like 1:30, started it up for the first time, fucking cried. Like it was the most special, like, cause it was months of, imagine climbing a mountain for 2 months, and the top's always there, and then when you get to that top, there's another one. It did not end, and when that thing went on the trailer, I was like, "Fucking!" It was spectacular. I sat in the car for about. The guys were like, "Come on, pull it in," and I just sat in it and listened to it, and I was like, "This is the first." I built a hot rod for myself before I built other guys' cars, but this was a true like undertaking of every fucking part on that car we made by hand or modified. There's probably 8 pieces that are OEM Porsche, but every fucking part. And at the end of the day, it's just this. Can't even explain it. Can't even explain
it's
it.
a fucking masterpiece.
It's a creation.
It's like, I mean, it honestly is. Like seeing that, the way that car came together, it's perfectly executed. I mean, every aspect of it. But I don't think that I can't remember spending that much time just crawling around a vehicle at SEMA, just like dissecting it and just geeking out over every detail. And the most important thing is that, like, fuck the details. The finished product, the overall package is killer, because there's 90% of the stuff that people do, it is just the details. Like, they missed the big picture, or it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
When it's done, it's just a piece of art.
There's a lot of important aspects. I mean, you guys know.
It's the total package.
Overall aesthetic. Because first of all, like, if you're going to judge a car, it happens in the first 5 seconds from 20 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
When we're walking through car shows,
you just won't even look.
We're walking through car shows. You take a glance, and if it doesn't go, wait, what? You just completely, and then you don't even get to look at the details, right? So that's the thing. You could have the best detail, every screws, the heads aligned perfect. You could have all this minuscule shit, and if the overall package doesn't look symmetrical, mean, it has to have character,
right?
Right. I mean, there's a lot of good cars that are just, oh, this paint's perfect, but if you don't look back and go, this thing's pissed off, or this thing's like, there's a full attitude and I guess character that cars have, and you got to hit that. And then when the people come and dissect it, then you got the builders who come over and go, why just look at so
little gap there, that gap,
or whatever it may be. Just, car people are sometimes the worst.
Yeah.
But they'll come over and then start dissecting. But my favorite time is to just sit back and you watch somebody walk up, and the favorite part's the walk, the glance, the continue walking,
and then
the glance back, tell the friend. And then they go look, and they look inside, and you do this, and they go underneath, and they go, oh, did it? And then you're like, all right, we got him.
Yeah,
like we got him.
Yeah,
we did our job. That worked.
I don't think you're the type of guy that needs it, but at the same time, this is the beginning of the rest of your life, right? You're taking a big gamble. What was the first moment of validation there at the show where you're kind of like, man, you know what? We might actually have something. I might have been right.
A few things. We brought that car into the spot. I don't know what time, I don't even know what day it was, but the day before SEMA start, where we got to park it, we were last minute in there, parked it. Thanks, Stan. Said it. I went and slept. I was like, that's it. Car's in its place. I did my job, went back to the hotel, and went to bed. And I woke up that morning with a message from my dad and a photo that our car's on the cover of Yahoo on the main screen of the internet.
Yep. I've arrived.
Makes me almost tear up now. But that's when I was like, what it hasn't even started yet. Yeah. I haven't even gone back to SEMA. I think they obviously took the cover off of it.
I've been sleeping for the last 12 hours.
I'm still in the hotel room, just waking up and seeing what's all going on, and right on the front page of Yahoo on the internet. I was like, oh my God. And so walk in, got my badge, walking up, and you can't even see the car. There's a crowd of people around it. I'm like, holy shit, man, maybe, all right. And then it would just kind of, that whole week was surreal. Guys like you came up, BJ Baldwin came up and studied it, Ring Brothers, like all these people. And it wasn't just, it's awesome when everybody likes it, but all of a sudden you've got builders that made a point to go like, oh, we heard, we followed you for the last little bit, and we wanted to come see it. I was like, fuck, man, people like gave a shit about what we were doing. I thought for sure it was so niche and so we, whatever. I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was in for.
Because at the end of the day, one, it's extremely well executed. Like you said, it's a masterpiece. At the end of the day, craftsmanship, quality, outside the box thinking, creativity, it's always going to stand out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the booth location. It doesn't matter. Like, well, eventually it'll matter if it's an asshole building it. But initially, it doesn't matter if it's an asshole building it. And it doesn't matter, like, the style either. Like, you build something fucking cool, like, it gets attention. It gets attention. Yep. It just flat out gets fucking attention.
Yep. That's the place to do it, too. But, yeah, that was that whole week was nuts. And what's wild is, so we finished that, when's SEMA? It's like Thanksgiving, right? October.
Yeah. The week.
Last week in October. First week in November.
October, November. So I had spent
right after Halloween.
I had spent my self-given salary of what I could live off of. Plus, I'll just say it now. I had 300 into that car. October, awesome, dude. We got a bunch of media interviews. Sweet. November, okay, like starting to get a little bit panicked. Where's the sales?
Yeah.
And I'd met one guy, the customer for the gray car, our unicorn, I call it, the first car we built after this. He was a client, owned a couple singers, was good friends with Rod Emery, who I made friends with, and
Rod's a good dude.
dude, great dude, great
cool.
dude. And he was one of Rod's clients, and kind of got wind, and Rod sent him over, said, "I got a guy for you. I might have a buyer." I was like, "Come on." So I met Scott. He came to SEMA, flew in, sat him in the car, gave him the old runaround. He goes, "Okay, what's it cost?" I go, I hadn't even thought about it. I hadn't put numbers together. I know what I spent on it.
Right.
So I had no idea.
This is to have one built or to buy your white car?
To have one built.
Okay.
He wanted one for himself. I was like, that's my demo. I can't. I guess if he would have offered it, that's a different story, but it didn't happen that way. So I had a couple weeks. I'm like, I don't know what to fucking tell this guy. Like, you're just throwing a number out. Like, there's no data. I didn't collect hours.
Right.
Like, I didn't count. Where do you start?
Sure.
I know what I spent. My Wells Fargo account shows that. So I know what parts are now, hours and whatever. So it rolls around middle to end of November. I'm like, Rod, what do I do here? He's like, dude, you just got to come up with a number. He goes, you might lose it on this first one, but you got to get him in the door. So came up with a number, sent him this. Christmas Eve, I got a baby on the way, and I had $4,000 to my name. And a deposit comes into the bank from our first client.
Sweet.
And that set it all off on Christmas Eve, no joke.
Wow.
Dude, you're fucking spot
Yeah,
on the
no joke.
timing.
No
I
joke.
love
You play the lotto?
I love these these milestones, man.
Thank God, because that's a couple months later is when COVID hit. So
That one carried you through.
Yep. That one car carried us all through through COVID.
Huh.
So it took a little longer expected.
So you still have the white car?
Nope.
You haven't sold it?
Nope.
You sold it?
Yep.
Well, that
So
car,
you
I
want to know
remember
another
seeing
set?
you
I
put the car up for sale. It was on.
bring a trailer for P car market.
But it did well.
No,
No.
I lost my ass. I had to sell it to finish the gray car.
Okay.
I underbid the gray car by a lot. And I had an obligation to him. I shook hands
Yeah.
on a price, and he believed in me before anybody did, so I didn't want to go ask him for more money. So I sold that car
Which
to
was,
finish the gray car.
we don't have to get in the weeds, but the underbid was you underestimated how much actual labor you had in the white car, or were you trying to make it that much nicer? Or both?
All of it.
All of it.
The level was next level.
So now you got a paying customer.
Yep.
So that fucks with your head.
Well, but I had to. It has to be right. It has to be better
yeah.
than my last one. That's all I was thinking.
That's why I said it fucks with your head.
Yep.
That's
And
exactly
to
the shit I'm talking
to
about.
this day, accountant, fiance will say you're losing money. I go, I know, but it has to be right. Like I cannot be in charge of the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like I'll throw shit away. I'll throw fenders off and redo them. They're like, why would you do that? We don't. It's got to be. It's just ignore the price. The price doesn't matter right now. It'll all make sense in the end. Now you got to eat shit for a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, I underbid the gray car by $200,000. A lot. And so I sold our prototype. I said, all right, this is going to be, if this car is a hit and it's as nice as the rest of this guy's cars in his collections. He's got singers. He's got some of the world's most unique.
People will see it.
Yep.
He'll tell people how great of a job you
Another
did.
marketing tool.
What'd the white car go for?
Just over 300.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, holy.
That'd have been the one to buy.
That dude's...
I was in a
that dude's
bind. I was in a bind. Out of money. I didn't have any other clients at that time.
Same guy still have it?
Yep.
He knows what the fuck he's got.
He loves it.
It's fucking prototype too.
Yeah, so
That's good.
I had him ship it back.
10 years from now, that motherfucker...
He's probably sending it back for warranty stuff, probably.
I had him ship
Fuck him. If you're listening right now, fuck off.
Yeah, the
because
gray
that
car,
car's
the
going to be
white-
worth $3 million in fucking...
The white one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in.
It's a
Dubai.
prototype.
It's in Dubai now. It's in a collection in Dubai. So, I hope they know what they have. I told them if you ever sell it for what I think you're going to sell it, you can send me back the rest of the $200K that I ate.
Yeah, just make it up to me.
Yeah, but it's the greater good. I mean,
Dude,
you
it's
know,
all part of the plan.
yeah.
Like in the end, like where you're at now. I mean, that's fast forwarding, but I'm sure this is.
I'm
it's
just
gonna work
grateful
out.
I had something to trade or to sell to continue it, right? It could have been just left with twiddling my thumbs and begging the customer for, hey man,
coming back to
a lot more than what
my original statement when we talked about that sacrifice. I hope everybody's listening. Everybody that is donated, right? That's kind of a theme that we always talk about is, the measure of success, unfortunately, in this industry is you have to, each year you're donating less. Yeah. Or one day you get to where you're not donating anything.
That's where,
right?
They say five years before a business is profitable.
So
we're at 6.
Still
looking for it.
Well, but you started out better. You started out better because
thank you.
In this industry, and I'm sure it's probably others, but specifically in car building, generally the story goes kind of like what you were talking about, but it's that first customer that says, I've got $75,000, and you're like, fuck yeah, I can make this awesome. And then you put another, 50 in parts, and then you put another 400,000 of your own labor into it. But at the end of the day, that customer owns that car, right? Yep. So you've built that business card and you're trying to get those next shops, but you don't have that car to sell to make that next guy happy, right? So you already started out with a tangible good as your first creation.
And that's smart. Like sacrifice saved. It could have been no prototype, only the client build. I mean, and that's best case scenario when you don't have to fund the R&D and fund the development. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's what we'll get into that. That's where I've learned to parlay. Right now we built up a brand and I can come up with a render and a design and have all the CAD done and engineering done and post it in pre-order. And now a couple of the first clients pay for your R&D, pay for your tooling, pay for your development.
Right.
But you have to earn that trust.
So you underbid the gray car.
Yep.
You sell the white car.
Yep.
Fund the rest of the gray car. You deliver it to him.
Yep.
He's thumbs up happy?
Loves it.
Loves it.
So between then, I had a kid and we moved to Phoenix. So
okay.
I don't know if you guys saw it.
Another smart decision. Get out of California. Dude, you're a fucking... You haven't heard a stupid decision yet.
Just wait. But it's still going.
Unless you tell me you're going to start doing like over 40 motocross races. Then
Vet Worlds. Yeah, I know. Stupid. No. So had to get out. Had to get out of LA. And you guys seen my Plymouth that I built? I built a 33 Plymouth that was like an epic hot rod.
Really? Is it on your Instagram?
Yeah, it's going to be on.
Well, we're going to be able to see it but the fucking feed's fucked.
So
that's all right.
I built this car right at the same time I started Singer. It's a 33 Plymouth sedan, 4-door. There it is.
Oh,
right
yes,
there.
I've seen the car.
That one.
Yeah.
That's my baby. I was going to hand that down. That's the very, very first car I built from the ground up for myself, start to finish.
That's cool.
Wow. I was going to give it to my daughters. And I had to sell that to move out here, and I bought a building. I bought real estate. Instead of renting and wasting it.
Better investment and a better thing to give your daughters.
Yep. So I cried. I didn't cry about losing the prototype, but
I do remember that car.
Yep. Yeah. That thing.
Dude, it's a cool car, but I don't like hot rods. Not a lot of value in them.
No. You know? Well, and I tell this. I have conversations with a lot of people. Like, why are you doing Porsches? I can put the exact same labor and parts and attention to detail into a Mustang or a Camaro, and it will not reach half of the value of a 911.
You're 100% right.
And it's not because of the vehicle, it's solely because of the clientele and how they view the value in that car.
Yeah. Yeah, the Porsche world, it's a wild community.
It's nuts.
And I mean, it's crazy.
Some weirdo guys.
And I hit it right. No, both. Some of the greatest people I've ever met, and some of the most.
Roger's coming on.
That's a good shot. We're having Roger from Ironworks.
Good and bad. Good and bad in all of it. But I joke around like I could be putting more effort into a vehicle with lesser value. So
Phoenix.
Yep.
Way better.
God, best thing we ever did.
Yeah.
Yep. Raising children. We got property. I grew up with space to ride motorcycles, and my sister had horses, and my wife and
you can do all
girls
that.
Have
there.
horses. I got a little. I made my girls a little motocross track.
Sweet.
They're not old enough to ride yet, but
how old are they?
We got track 2 and 4.
So are you using the pitch bike on the track in the meantime?
About the right
Four's getting close.
Yeah.
Oh no, we take the quad out. She's got a power wheel. She goes and rips around on, and I'll take the mini quad out. So it's there.
I got a Yamaha Tri-Zinger when I was 3.
Dude, those are
tearing
epic.
around on that.
Yeah.
I go out. My son rides, and so I go out and I see these little kids. Dude, there's kids. They're like 4 or 5 years old on these little like 50s.
The Stay Six.
Oh yeah, yeah. But these kids, they look like when you watch the RC dirt bikes because it's like because they never fall.
The head's this.
Yeah, the head's big, and they wear like these massive, almost like a life preserver under their jersey, like the chest protector, and it's like
the gyro effect just keeps them up.
Like
it's
they
just,
never go down, man. They case everything, and it's like they're just boom, boom, boom. It's wild.
It's like awesome. We had the Evil Knievel little pull cord motorcycle.
Yeah.
But Phoenix was great, man. First, I'm able to own a building for less than I would rent in LA, which allowed for growth, allowed to put money into R&D, into development rather than paying a landlord.
So where's customer number 2 come from the gray car?
This is a cool story. So white car's done, gray car, that picture in the top about halfway through, you'll see it. And I was getting, at this point, I was getting a ton of inquiries of people like, I love what you're doing. This is awesome. It's beautiful. But I don't need to go 80 miles an hour through the desert. I don't need 14 inches of travel, and I don't want to spend $1 million.
Well, then buy a fucking Mini Cooper.
Well, no, but here you get so many of those inquiries, and you go, I'm leaving. There's this inquiry, this. There's $6 million on the table. If I had something in the 300 range, right? So all these guys were like, here's my budget. I live on a dirt road. I live in the mountains. I want to daily it. I love what you're doing, but I don't need that extreme. And so I called Scott. I go, hey, here's the situation. We're like in the middle of COVID, toward the end of it, actually. I go, your car's going good. I've got these inquiries. You're my only client right now, but I want to build something that's a little more economical, bolt on, just another entry level. Entry level sounds belittling, but anyway, something less invasive, more cost friendly. And so that's what came of our Sportsman. So I told him, I go, do you care? I need to take 6 months off, and I need to knock out one of these. I've got like 5 clients. And he goes, TJ, when I met you in SEMA, I didn't buy one of your cars because I just wanted the car. He goes, I liked where your head was at, that you took a chance, and I believe in what you're going to do, and I'm here to support you. Absolutely. Take what time you need.
Hell yeah.
So I took what would have been any little bit left of profit in the gray car and developed our Sportsman, which was a bolt-on suspension kit, not as wide, still heavy duty.
Yep.
A flare kit that mimics the Porsche Turbo. So the Baja is just its own design,
pull
right?
that one up there, Jeff.
And then so that's number 1.
Okay.
So that is the storyline, so to speak, of what if in 1990 you could have ordered a Special Wishes Safari from Porsche. What would it have been? Well, they probably would have made it. They probably would have taken the turbo body, right? Flares, some suspension, lift kit, rally lights, all this yada yada yada. So the body kit on that is designed around the turbo 964.
Okay.
Right. So the DNA is still very much Porsche-esque. We do uprights, arms, shocks, trailing arms, hubs, 2 bumpers, skid plates, all these accessories, right? And it's kind of an a la carte deal. So the premise behind that is you can take a really good 964 that doesn't need paint, doesn't need interior, and bolt on our kit and go have fun.
Nice.
Right? It's not a sandblast down to bare metal, cut half the car apart, go through all this. Like, let's make a kit.
Shop or average guy put together.
And that was a hit, and it took off. And so that's kind of was the start of an entry level. You know, originally it was just this no holds bar, all in, thinking I'll build one every couple of years, which still might have worked. But at that time, I was like, I gotta do something. We've got 12 people reaching out that would buy something tomorrow at this price point if I had it. So I'm gonna do it.
That's a good business.
So that was
you got to diversify.
Yeah. Listen to the client. Listen to your potential clientele. I'm sure you guys went through that.
We did. Our chassis offerings are the same way. You know, we've got fast track stuff that's, you know, way up there, and we've got spec stuff that's from a price point, it's a little more entry level, but just like what you're doing, the quality is still really high. It's just it
has nothing to do with the quality or it all has to do with the limitations based on what the guy's building. Like, why is the guy going to buy if you're a motor builder and all you offered was 1,200 horsepower,
Yeah.
We only offer 1,200 horsepower. And the guy's like, 500 is where I want. Nope, sorry, we only build 1,200.
Shame on you.
Yeah, right. It's the same thing on the chassis. It's the same thing on your builds, right? It's not that it's any less. The only reason it's less than what this guy.
That's why I hate describing it.
Right.
It's so hard. It's like,
but it's
entry level. No,
it's top level.
Economical, maybe.
It's top level for what that guy's going to do with it.
Yep.
That's exactly what he wants for that. Why spend an extra $300,000 for something that he's not going to utilize?
Yep.
Or he's going to treat it even rougher, Yep.
And so now we've evolved that even more. Now we offer it in carbon. We built a car that instead of the bolt-on flare look, it was all bonded on and blended. Like I said, that body was based on turbo, which had narrow front and these rear wide, which is like an iconic look on the turbos. But I always thought the front looked wimpy. So our new gen is 2 inches wider in the front, pulled it out a little bit more. Now we've got billet arms, billet uprights. We've just slowly evolved quality and like how it works and the geometry. And
so are you doing these as full builds as well?
Well,
or
both.
just
So
kits?
that's the best. That best part on that is we've got a couple. One of my favorite specs is that car and a couple others, but we pay a little bit more for a donor that has good paint and interior. So we've got a couple cars in the shop right now that the interior looks like the day it rolled off the showroom.
Yeah,
not a split in the seat, not a cut in the dash. Carpet's perfect. You open it, it's 90s 911. You still smell it.
Yep.
All the buttons, paint's great. And then we've got exposed satin carbon, billet 6061 upright.
That's
like
cool.
Just these sick components on a stock car. So you're in it and it's got this nostalgia time capsule feel.
That's the way to be.
With just the trick, similar to your guys'.
The Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. Like same, and it's just a cool feel. And it's like my favorite. And then with that, we've got a couple guys that I was telling you earlier that go, all of it. New paint, new interior. I want a 3.8 liter. I want gearbox upgrade. Everything that you have to offer, do it. Sweet. And so that's what's so good about this setup is it's a la carte. Like I'm not leaving anything. There's no, what do you want? Where do you live? How do you want to drive? And we'll build it.
Well, that's my question. What are these customers doing with that car? Like the dude who gets that car, is that just like a badass
daily? Sometimes they leave it at their house. We got a guy that's up in Tahoe. It's his Tahoe car. All of these guys, I say, have a collection.
Yeah.
None of them, this is their second car.
Are you're getting Porsche guys? Are you getting any guys that just like,
a little of everything?
And I've never had one, and if I'm going to do one, this is the way I want to go.
Well, a little of everything. It started as you had to be a Porsche guy to understand it, and now I'm getting inquiries of like, I had no idea this thing existed, and I have to have one, which is cool. So we're hitting a new market, new clientele. But I'll say this, of probably 30%, actually more, 40 to 50% of our clients have collections of rare, numbers matching, limited singers, like
stuff they can't drive.
Yeah, and I'm an honor. Like,
Yeah.
they tell me what they have, and if you look at us, like we fit in with your category. Like I'm like, all right, like I'm still the dude in the welding mask, thinking we're this underground shop, just trying to make it.
You're there,
and then every now and then you get these people that call and go, like, you're my favorite car in my collection. I'm like, fuck.
Like, oh my god, you're
man,
TJ? Yeah. Oh, I'm talking to TJ.
I mean, I'll say, like,
I hate hearing that, but like it's just
cool.
it's humbling,
It's
dude.
cool,
It's
man.
so fucking humbling.
like
From
Singer, they came. What did they call that? Their off-road deal that they
The
did.
lightweight.
DLC.
ALC, all-terrain.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like,
Yeah.
LMNOP.
Yeah.
The Alpha car.
what you do absolutely fucking dunks on that. Like it's a beautiful creation what they did. It wasn't executed to the level that yours was. I mean, over the top as far as like details, fit, finish, but they just didn't nail it like you did, in my opinion. Like I look at that car and it's so fucking cool, and I watch the video and it's awesome, right? Not to discredit, you cannot discredit it because it's a fucking beautiful.
You don't think it's got balls?
Yeah, they flogged the shit out of it.
I mean, it was built.
I mean, visually.
It just doesn't, like, you park those side by side, and I don't care. I mean, that's probably a $3 million vehicle.
I know.
I'm guessing. I'm taking yours all day long. Like if I had you're giving me, yeah. I mean, dude, there's just something about the execution. It's fucking perfect, man.
Thank
the
you.
look,
Thank you.
the feel for what its intended use
The
is.
right level of raw.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. So
Yes,
it's the masculine. It's the masculine part. It's a little more hardcore, rugged.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like a masculine thing. I think I would use it as
It's not
like
in a bad. It's
like
like you can say masculine as
I'd
a
probably
positive.
get like a jacked up square body or something with some big old thorn birds on it if I was looking for masculine. But
Between the two, I'm saying that one's a little bit more rougher and hardcore.
it just hits for me. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it.
It's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like listening to a song. You don't know why. Maybe. I mean, maybe you do, but it just gets it for you, you know?
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Appreciate it.
I mean, if you're listening to a song, I know exactly why I don't like it.
Well, okay.
because Phil's playing it, and it's his
And it's
taste
rap.
of music sucks. Hey, no, you don't. That's fine because there's probably more people listening that like your style of music than would like mine. So that's just the way it is. My wife being one of them. Fucking the garbage '90s gangster rap.
She gets down with that's what
Oh
she rolls
fuck
with?
yeah! It's fucking horrendous.
Well, she rolls pretty hard. I mean, I see her in the car. I mean,
that
she's
seat
got
is laid
yeah,
back.
she's got the whole
She got yeah.
Back when you could understand the lyrics.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got a little ghetto in her. Yeah, that's for sure. So you diversified, you're rolling, everything's kicking ass. What is SEMA like the second time around with the charcoal with the gray car?
So I came prepared with that. I walked in like we're here to fucking battle. You know what I mean? I know how well we did with the first car. Made it to the finals. Battle of the Builders is cool. Obviously, you're up against Ring Brothers and a couple other good guys, and so you're just at that point you're just honored, right? At that point, I didn't think we'd. I signed up for Battle of the Builders just for publicity.
It's fun for the game.
Not
it's fun for the
not
game.
an
Yeah.
ounce of it was to compete. It was just what can we do while I'm here? And then the next year with the gray car was like, let's do it. Let's try and win. Why not? Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Pull up. And I think we had it. And then Ring Brothers brought that green truck, which awesome. I voted for it. Like in the voting criteria, it's my favorite.
I think the chassis
But-
is kind of what set that thing apart from the rest.
100%.
Probably.
Just all of it.
100%.
The whole detail. I mean, all of it. Yeah. I don't know. The chassis was like the weakest part. I think.
Yeah. I think there were some issues with it, right? The flex issues.
Did it steer okay? Oh, no.
That thing-
dude. All of it. Like I love Mike and Jim. We became good friends. So that thing popped out. I was like, ugh. So, but at the end of the day, I was like, maybe we got a chance to. It's all in perception. It's all how people portray it. But we won our class. I didn't do that the year before. We won import sedan, whatever.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
It was
to categorize for you, right?
Oh, and
Like off-road,
Well, the
is it
first year I was
sports?
like, I didn't know what it, and
Where you
I don't think
land.
the judges knew. It was so different. Where do you put it?
Yeah.
It's an off-road car, right? Would you judge it against the K5 Blazer and a bunch of other stuff? Probably not.
Yeah.
Is it yeah, it's an import. Yeah, from Germany.
That is a tough one.
Like so
It's a tough year. That the rings brought the fucking heat.
Yeah.
With that one. I mean, they built some beautiful stuff. That thing was so fucking over the top.
It was wild.
yeah, it deserved it. Like
was
I wasn't
wild
mad.
over the top.
I straight up wasn't mad. We won our class and that was sweet. We made it to the finals, and as they're judging, I'm like, dude, this could go any way, like, because it's judged by the competitors.
Yeah.
Like we all sit there and go through, and so, you know, Ring Bros win every year, so there's a chance that everybody's tired of seeing one, even though they're like the baddest cars around. So I was like,
They
you never
pay
know.
off everybody out on stage. So it's
Here's
No,
here's one for
it
you.
It was awesome. Like
What's that?
So forget the show part of it. You get the opportunity to drive one of them back
Okay.
from Vegas to Chicago, and it's the Inyo, right?
Okay.
Or it's his charcoal Baja.
that's wild.
Dude, it's
I don't know. I'd make
given-
it back to Chicago. I just fuck around and like.
given the location,
Vegas
it's
and
the
dudes.
Baja all day long. What I will
Well,
say,
you got to drive it back to Chicago. It's not always Arizona or
but
always Nevada.
most of the way,
Yeah.
there's like very conducive to that driving style. What I will say is they had
That'd be a difficult one.
at the tail end of that build, their customer changed that thing over to a 4L60 auto,
Oh,
from it was a transaxle 6-speed.
Never mind. I didn't know that.
Which that kind of skews things because as a transaxle 6-speed, I mean that fucker you could just flog it.
I know.
You know,
I didn't realize that. So never mind. It's an easy
plus,
one.
I would like with the open wheel fat slicks and it being the Ring Brothers. I'd like to take it on the street and just annihilate it. You know, just be wasting it with.
I hope the owner of that
rocks.
just rips it.
I don't know how much he's driven. I mean, they've driven the car, like quite a bit. They've done a lot of cool stuff with it. I don't know,
Sweet,
what the owner's done with it.
The only reason I said that is because that is, if that thing was,
maybe that
did
should
what
be,
it's supposed to do, that'd be a hard
maybe
one that
that's
was
a
like
new-
holy shit on the street, and one that was holy shit off road. That'd be a different.
That should be new criteria for judging in the future. Go call SEMA. Say, hey, there's a new category. It's not fit and finish. You know, sometimes.
So which one do you want to fucking drive home?
What do you drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, we talk about that all the time. We talk about that even with our award. Like, obviously fit and finish and level of execution has got to be a certain level. When it comes down to, 2, 3 or so, seemingly ties where you can make enough positives and negatives for each one, it comes down to.
It's usually the deciding factor. It's like, which one would you want to have? Which would you want to drive?
If I had the opportunity to own it, which is the one I want to pick, and then that's the ones we always go with, is the one 3 of us collectively be like, yeah, that's the one I'd want to own.
yeah.
Generally.
I'm not a fan, really, unless it's so over the top and it's such a beautiful piece of artwork. I'm just not a fan of stuff that isn't primarily focused on the driving experience. I mean, it's a fucking car, right? Like, it's...
Yeah. Me and you disagree there.
That was my favorite about.
Really? What's your philosophy on that? Where do you stand?
Well, if it's full blown, like where everybody's showing up to compete, I'm not gonna ding a car that's too nice because one was made to drive. But that's just me. All I look at it is Troy's 36.
It's not Riddler, right? Different judge.
But that's where I put that little like exception. If it's art, like if it's like a beautiful piece of art,
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
I think that's. But a lot of them don't fall in that category. Like Troy's that Roadster, it's fucking art. You put it in your living room. You don't even need to drive it.
Well, that's not. So you should have phrased it differently.
I did say that. I said unless it's like a piece of art. Remember when I said that?
I understand.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if it's super nice but it's ugly, you don't like it.
Style.
That's easy to say.
Yeah. Okay. That's one way of saying it, I guess.
If it's so artistic and it's nice, just saying it's a piece of art, because there's a lot of pieces of art. But if it's art that you don't fucking like and it's an ugly ass fucking piece of shit car,
Dude, Troy's Roadster was not that bad.
Is that what you're trying to say?
no. What I'm saying is you
you
can't ding a car for being so nice because it maybe wasn't built to perform because it's a car.
Okay.
If it's beautiful and it's executed perfectly, then that's still a level of execution that's almost impossible to achieve.
I guess I'm not dinging it. Like, I think my style's just evolved to, like, when you talk about the Ring Brothers, the Enyo car, we were involved heavily in the chassis. We designed the whole chassis. That's a car that, like, if you really wanted to, I mean, you could fucking flog the shit out of it. Like, it will work really well. And I think that's what I like about it. I love, like, the details are over the top, but at the end of the day, the car is going to work.
That has to be taken into account.
Yeah, and that, like, to what you're building, it's the same thing. Like, it's a beautiful, visually, aesthetically, I love it.
Well, then just buy a used Indy car then. You can buy those for like $30,000. And then
I've thought about it.
It performs.
Right. And
DMV has issues with that.
Yeah, and they look cool too. So yeah, that's a thing. Like, that's an option, man.
So what's the plan? Everything you got kits available. You've got Survivor Series, but what's that called? That build. If you're Sportsman.
Yep.
All right. So Sportsman. Yep. You got kits, Sportsman's, full blown, full tilt. Life's fucking good.
Is it?
Oh, I'm asking. That's a question. I should have put the inflection on
the outside. It looks badass. Are you enjoying it?
I love it. Like any builder, the hard part is the business side. It's really hard to do what needs to be done and what I want to do, and you're looking at the bank account.
Dude, everybody acts like this fucking accounting thing. So he always acts like us. I had to go to school for accounting, like that big fucking deal.
That whole money thing.
It's so fucking. It's
you got it.
I've given this lesson to Phil. I don't know how many times.
Money for everything.
It's two buckets. There's a bucket that the money goes in, and there's a bucket the money goes out. Right? Simple.
Yeah.
Fucking simple. As long as there's money coming into one and going out of the other, it's fucking good.
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah, that easy.
Figure out the middle. Figure out the middle part.
Why is it so hard? Yeah, so that it's
put
from
a
the outside
recirculating pump on one. Maybe we can get with Carl, get a VaporWorks controller on there.
Yeah,
and not
fucking
run
pulse
one
width
full
modulated.
speed.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it's awesome. We're it's so tough. Like automotive industry is brutal.
It's not easy.
It is brutal. It's expensive. You got to do it right. There's a lot of factors that fight you, you know. It's not easy by any means. Like if anybody says, "Oh, I'm gonna start this car brand or manufacturing," I'm like,
good luck.
Good luck. You better be willing to eat, breathe, sleep, die for it.
Yeah.
You better.
There's so much shit you have to
live at your shop.
I'll fight. So anyway, it's good. Like we've just been, any little bit of what I think is income or profit, it goes right back into the business and development. A new product. It's always like, what can we offer? This or that. Some retail side. So for the longest time, it's just been builds. Bring me a car, we build, and I'm like looking more into like, what can I sell you or you, and not have to take up 6 months of my guy's time. And so we're evolving into some retail stuff. A smart man would say stick with what you're doing and don't create any more models. And right now we're bringing out, we just debuted our new 993.
Smart man's not in the car industry.
No, and I'm like, just what's next? And so we're going to do Cayennes. Overland market's huge. I want to do a really nice, nobody's doing a long travel, really, really proper long travel for Cayennes. We've got Jeff Gamroth, our engine builder at Rossport.
Okay.
He's got 10 of them in the backyard, and they do arrive and drives for Nora, the 500, 1000.
Oh, really?
So there's a big market for some off-road suspension, the Overland guys. But the 993 that we're about to knock out, 2 different versions too. We're going to do a Sportsman version of it, which is an RSR or the Club Sport. So in the late 90s, Porsche offered a Club Sport, which was a factory-prepared race car for retail.
Okay.
So we're playing along the idea and the story of factory-prepared rally car. And then we've got this DRT we're doing, which is more along the lines of just the 993 version of our Baja. So ignore the rules, ignore anything.
Just go all in.
Our deal, dual shocks, bump stops, live valving, like all out. Now, I normally would have no business doing this, except we've got guys in-house now that are very good at engineering and drawing. And so now I'm able to do full-scale accurate renders. The suspension is already done, and I'm able to show this to potential clients. And they go, absolutely, I want number 1, I want number 2, 3. So it's just evolving. Same thing you guys went through. And knock on wood, it's like I never... 6 years ago, you hope for this, but in the back of my mind, it's like, I'm probably going to build this car and sell it and then be on to whatever my next deal is. Might be a Camaro, might be a FJ Cruiser, whatever it may be. Yeah. And it's just fucking blessed that it turned into what it is now. And like, we're one of the only ones in the world doing this, I think.
Dude, when I see
it's at for multiple reasons, probably nobody's stupid enough to try and tackle it sees a point, or if I did my job right, they don't think they can compete.
There'll be some cheap.
I say that I'm trying to say that in a humble way, but I put so much effort into this that it's like sign up to battle.
You're the measuring stick now.
Yeah, let's go.
Dude, I think you were
that level.
And I take it that's kind of the battle and fighter in me from motocross or wrestling, but it's like I want to not only just build the baddest thing I can possibly do for my client, but I want to put it out of reach for anybody else to even try and touch.
I think you're so innovative with it, right? Like it's one of those things that, there's a lot of products out there that are like, oh, fuck, I wish I'd have thought of that. Or like, oh, I could do that. Like I should have thought of that.
I spend all my time
like
looking at people.
There's
like brilliant scrub daddy.
Yeah,
sponge.
Right? I mean, dude, like for me, I look at what
shake weight.
I look at what you're doing.
Just sometimes it's that one little idea.
But dude, I'm looking at what you're doing. And
My
I'm like,
pillow.
To me, it's one of those
We're
like
just throwing out.
It's like one of those. Why didn't I fucking think of that?
Yeah.
Like it's and when I see the way you presented yourself at Barrett Jackson, it's dude. You're killing it. You're on the absolute right path. Like if you haven't,
You got some great dudes working.
if
for
you
too.
haven't hit it
Everybody
out of
there
the
was
fucking
really
park
super cool.
yet, you're on the cusp. Like you're absolutely on the cusp.
Yeah, we're
from
we're
where
teetering right now. On
yeah, because it's so good. Like, and I have to
Dude,
admit,
you're first. Fuck all that about on the cusp. Bro. You're still doing it for a living, so you've made
well,
it.
yeah, right. Yeah, what else?
Oh, yeah,
like,
from-
there's
I mean,
worse
from-
things.
You're doing it for a fucking living. You're
From everybody's definition.
I don't.
You're right. You're right.
Who
And I
cares
think
about all that? Because it doesn't matter what happens next year. You're gonna be like, oh, we're still making it. We're trying to make it.
Still
The year after that, we're like, well, we're just trying to get ahead. That's what
there.
everybody
Yeah.
says. You're fucking doing it for a living, so you've made it. Fuck
I
off
think it's
everything else.
important for us to guilt some customers into purchasing these. Like you were just mentioning Matt.
Matt Saxon's gotten big into the Cayenne's Overland stuff and sent a couple that he's looking at. He bought one. Like, we probably got to get Matt to pull the trigger on one if you're doing some long travel, legit stuff.
Yeah, it's coming.
You're
he
talking
should
about
have-
it. You're talking about it right now.
He should have one of these. And he's got one of those.
How does that benefit you?
No, it doesn't. But that's not the point. Like it benefits him, and he builds cool shit. So that's the point. Like he bought one
Long
of those.
play, we're going to kind of work a back end discount.
This is.
Yeah.
I like Matt. I like Matt a
But
lot.
he bought one of those fucking Lamborghini. What's the Lamborghini with the fucking
Off-road shit.
off-road tires?
Yeah,
They-
I know.
You're like, dude.
But that's
It was
What
the
are you
Pontiac
doing? Like,
Aztec
what are you doing?
version of the
honestly,
Lamborghini.
Well, it get
Matt doesn't listen to this, so it's fine. Matt, that's a little more Matt speed. Matt's a great fucking dude. He drinks whiskey, smokes cigars, but that's a
You're guilting him.
fucking TJ's car. Those are manly fucking cars,
okay.
man.
I see where you're going.
Dude, that's not a.
I see
that's
the
a
play.
Yeah, that's a dude that's not a play. That's a true story.
That's gonna be a purchase order on what day is it today? Is it Monday?
I'm just telling you.
Wednesday.
I know.
Wednesday. There's a PO coming.
I know Matt fucks around with some pistolas, but this is a grown ass man's car.
Elephant gun.
That's yeah. Yeah, that's John Wayne, Clint Eastwood
But
in your
he's- that's-
veins
that's a
kind of
dude-
car.
That's a dude that should have one. He should have one for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many. Everybody should have one.
Yeah.
Everybody.
If you want to do any like maybe a case study on how winter road salt affects them, send one up here because that
For
would be the
sure.
ultimate
And so I
daily.
put a lot of thought into that. I grew up in Colorado,
Okay.
and you got that.
Are they salt or sand out there?
It's salt,
Okay.
sodium chloride, or whatever. I mean,
Salt.
Salt.
Fucking
stuff to make
salt.
bombs if you mix it all up right. Yeah, it's brutal. That stuff eats chassis, eats metal. So, and that's one of the things we do when I'm on the phone with a potential client. Like, there's a lot. We have a 45-minute conversation just on the first inquiry. I go, hey, they go, send me pricing and send me your spec sheet. I go, it's not that easy. Like, we build all of these. Every single car is
To
built
you.
to you. Are you down in Mexico? Are you in?
So you need the rocker. You need the rockers hollowed out.
Just a lot of it. Like, where are you going to be? How can I properly prepare it's not just this spec. Here you go.
Yep.
That black car, that guy had sole intent to take it to Mexico on surf trips.
That's cool.
Right. So roof rack,
50 cal.
roof rack angled properly
Okay.
to where the surfboards aren't creating lift at 85 miles an hour. Little subtleties in there. Air compressor, blow himself.
I think Phil's question about the salt was a play for him to be able to get one
Well,
and test
but dude,
it for
I'll
the
say
winter.
when you want to talk
all
about
all that's important. So, like,
is.
if I know a car's going up in the snow and it's going to be around that, we go extra hard on the preparation of the chassis undercarriage. We make sure there's no splits in the seam sealer, stuff like that. Previous rust, we'll go through, clean it all off. None of these Sportsmans or the new cars, we take them down to bare metal. I've learned that Porsche did a really, really good job of galvanizing from 964s up. They were dipped in a galvanizing agent.
Okay.
And they're much more solid. 80s, 70s, you'll see a lot of rust. You don't see a lot of rust in 90 and up.
Got it.
And so I make a point to not strip the undercoating off. Everybody's like, take it down to bare metal. You don't take it down to bare metal. I go, no. I leave. There's some spots that are 1/4 inch thick on all between the seams and areas. We'll take off the first layer in abrade it and then put new undercoating underneath it. Just
If it ain't rusted in 35 years, it's not going to rust in the next 35
and
years.
then why melt it down and take the chance of like removing galvanizing just to cover it. So anyway, there's a big aspect of like getting to know you and the client and what do you want to do? Do you have kids? Do you want a back seat? Do you need the back seat?
Well,
Like,
what do you do in the back seat for like a mid-sized golden doodle?
Straps.
Some straps.
It's a mini golden.
It's a mini golden.
It's mid-size.
But it's
Well-
bigger than what it was supposed to be.
No, the golden doodle's mini. His unit's mid to large size. But
You leave that at home with the wife.
Exactly.
oh,
Yeah.
that's what you should do, Phil.
Sir, for an extra charge, we'll remove the passenger seat and then you can tell your wife.
I would.
You're fun.
can't go.
Yeah, if
I don't have a lot of money, but I would give every single penny I had to have a visual of Phil and Benjamin Snugglestein in the passenger side, and with both of them with matching helmets and little driving goggles, just
Pretty sweet.
fucking beating it. That would be awesome. You tell me you wouldn't want to see that?
It's a good visual.
Yeah, coming through Barrington, just hitting the railroad tracks. I can see both of them. Those ears come up.
You'll get yours. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I have already. All right. So it's you look like you had something.
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
curious.
sure it's
So
probably
we've talked
really well
all about
crafted.
like the.
Too much about
Now you're psyching me out. Well, we've talked so much about like the creation of the car, but the driving experience of these things, right? Because that's what this car, it's all about.
It's,
at the end of the day.
We would probably sell 100 if I could put I could take phone and email inquiries
And put 'em in the
into
seat.
driver's seat. We took the prototype to obviously. We've done a lot of development down in Baja on the race teams.
Okay.
Like Jeff Gamroth at Rossport races. So our first Sportsman kit went on his car in the 500.
Yeah.
Went and got feedback. Like I'm very adamant about we are not a lift kit and a mud flap fucking shop. We build heavy duty performance suspension. It might not, we've got levels of what you want to do with that, but it is in no way, shape, or form just a lift kit. And so Sportsman went out. We put the Baja stuff. Obviously, Jeff and another guy, Sheriff, race the 1000 and go kill it. I took the prototype all over. I was adamant about going out desert, Glamis. There, it is. I could not tell you, and you could not understand about being in the cockpit of a sports car, an iconic sports car, nonetheless, a 90s classic at this rate, 32 years old, sports car, and going over a mile of 3-foot whoops at 70 miles an hour. It doesn't make sense, and it's the most awesome fucking thing that you will ever do. There's one thing about being in a truck, and you got a big cab, and you got steel structure, and it's just the bigger you are, the more the bigger you are, the less
The more it
susceptible
makes
you are.
sense.
It's just you're invisible.
Well,
you're invisible.
You expect it out of it for one.
And so you're low. It's a sports car cockpit.
Yep.
It's fast. It's nimble. It's 3,000 pounds.
What's the horsepower out of this?
It depends. We got specs. 3.8 is like 360 horsepower. You go up to the 4-liter, 400, and then you can go from there. But at 3,000 pounds and 14 inches of wheel travel and wheelbase and width, it's like it's
14 inches on the Sportsman.
no on our Baja.
What are this like a 90-inch wheelbase? What's the wheelbase?
92 on the Bajas. Yeah, we stretch it 3 inches, and then but it's you can't relate it to a side by side. Side by sides, there's best bang for your buck is a side by side, right?
Yeah.
But for feel, in input, in driver experience, it's hard to touch it. And I'm a little bit biased, but you can't. Sports car, off road, 4-foot whoops, 3-foot whoops.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense, and your brain goes, "This is the nuttiest thing I've ever done," and it does it. And the faster you step on it, we took Matt Fair out, smoking tire.
Okay.
And I took him out in the passenger seat. I go, there's some, I'll give you the keys, but there's some things you need to understand about this before you step into it, because it's above your knowledge.
Yeah,
of
dude,
what
like
anything's
simply
capable
put,
of.
you can't fucking handle
Not a street
it,
car.
man.
And I go,
Yeah.
anytime you're scared, and we went up to a couple sections that
your foot in it.
all of a sudden you're cruising and there's some big drops. I go, you stand on it and the thing lifts up like this bat, and it takes it. And he goes, oh my God. I go, remember that, because the worst thing you can do is you come up to something and you slam on your brakes because you're scared.
Yeah.
Suspension compresses, you lose travel, thing bucks, or whatever,
Sure.
all the negative, and step on it and put him in the seat. And we came up to a couple sections and he just steps on it and the thing grows up like this. And just
Yeah, but
it's-
honestly,
it's
what
like
does
you
Matt
can't-
Farah know about
it's-
off-road?
And just the engines, the snappy, the weight, most of the experience you're going to get in a vehicle that will do that is a 5,000 pound truck, F-150
Yeah.
Raptor, heavier, slower to brake, slower to accelerate. Everything's delayed. And it's just I don't know, it's really hard to explain until you put, like I said, everybody needs to be in the driver's seat to really.
That's honestly, that's fucking awesome. And my takeaway is flat out.
It doesn't make sense.
We're-
I'll tell you that.
We have drastically underutilized this podcast. Like
Why is
we
that?
have
We could be a sales tool for him.
we
if
have
we're
dozens to possibly 20 plus people listen to this, and we've got brands.
I'm glad I came all the way out.
Fucking A. We've got people, like there's multiple states of listeners
And countries.
and people coming on here all the time talking about their brand and the things like that. We should honestly, we got to utilize this to our
should get
advantage.
behind the wheel
We
more.
need to test drive and test
Oh.
these things out
where you're
prior to them coming on.
You
You,
wanna
can't
pull-
just come on here and talk to the 26 people. We have 15 in Australia alone, and another 8 in Canada.
You want to pull
That's
a little.
that, honestly, if you want to, that's
you're right.
global. It's global.
You should.
You want to pull a little
that's-
Autotopia action.
We do, yeah. It's
little bit.
unfair that we don't that we
really
just have to like give this platform away without any test drives, without any test fires.
Okay.
We're going to start locking the gates.
Let's do it.
It's gonna have to be pay for play.
Come out to Arizona.
We can do that.
we'll do
we
that.
were just there.
No, we'll do this again. That's a great idea. To do a pre-drive
Dude, I would love
on some
to.
cool
Yeah.
shit. To have something more to talk about.
We should do that.
Yeah, we were just out. We went out for Barrett Jackson.
Imagine if we like cartwheeled one right now.
Oh, it'd be sick.
Conversation we have.
And then
that's-
edit that in.
And nobody knew about it. You kept it quiet. And nobody knew about it until this day.
And then I walk with a limp for like 3 weeks.
That would be the best part. Right?
A neck collar and two wristbands.
The
Josh in a neck brace.
Whoa, we got some shit to talk about, folks.
what?
But dude, we were just out in Scottsdale for Barrett Jackson,
Yeah.
and we went and rented.
Dude, why didn't you guys call me? You should have come by the shop.
I didn't know you were out there. But we rented UTVs and went through the up by the Tonto National Forest.
Yeah, yep.
And did that whole run, and that was fun.
Man, you start getting cocky after a couple hours into it too, though, because you're like, "Fuck, these things will take anything."
Yeah.
And we had
There's some nasty shit.
there's some nasty shit, but then you get into some of the high speed on the way coming back, and it's just
That's when you get hurt.
wide
At
and
a high speed.
yeah.
When they're good enough,
Rolling.
when they're tuned enough to get to speeds that you really like, and that's what happened to the white car. Like I got it tuned, we got it dialed to where you're going faster than your eyeballs can keep up. And I was like, if I cartwheel this, I'm basically destroying my business. It's my prototype. When I was doing that, it was like this is the representation of what I'm like. You need to see it in order to buy it.
Yep.
So we got it to where it worked well enough to where you can scare the shit out of yourself, but it's also at the speed now to where you can't react quick enough for something that comes up. But which was like awesome. I was like, we got this
stay
car
in
to
it.
work
Yeah.
well enough to really scare the shit out of you, and that's how it should
That's
be.
a sweet spot.
But same with UTVs. Like, it does good enough to where you can have some serious damage. If
Yeah, you get a
shit
little
goes wrong.
comfortable
Yep.
out there.
But you don't
take
get
much.
you don't get on the 2-wheel trails. I promise you.
No, yeah, we went on a. We were fucking around.
We didn't even
up
go on a
there,
trail.
and we
pulled
literally
over.
for like a second we must have put a wheel on a a single track, maybe they call it,
Okay.
just a fucking front wheel, and we got out because we were like going to take some pictures or something. And these fucking dudes, just these nerds, come up. He's like
Off our trail,
into
bro.
Rose, and he's like, hey man, I just want to let you know that like we only have a few more of these left, and it's unacceptable that you're on it. Like, oh yeah,
It was bad timing too, because I just cranked a cactus and it was all in my leg.
yeah. And we're looking at him. We're just like, oh yeah, man. Sorry. And the dude, he just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He just keeps going. It got to the point. It was like,
sorry.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, man, we're sorry. I think if he'd have gone on for about another few seconds, it would have been a.
I was going to tell him it's a good thing you got a backpack on because you're going to have to tote one all the way back from where you're coming.
I think it was close. He was.
Yeah.
He reeled it
Where
back in.
Where did all the imagery go from that trip? We've never sent it to Elliot.
Forgot about that. We got to do that.
That was an epic.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was an epic trip.
It was fun, but I think that
It was impromptu, so we had to go and purchase.
No, it's a good-
we had to purchase apparel prior to the run.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we went and tuned it up at
Went to
Wally World. Yeah.
Full Polaris jersey.
No, they were.
Some people did better than others.
Did you go jerseys or what?
No, we went Velcros with some cargo pants.
Kit?
Yeah.
A full kit.
And what you were
I said Tupac
sweatshirt.
Yeah, you,
I had a Chucky.
you had a Chucky
Bandana?
sweatshirt.
We went to Walmart the night.
Phil had a
before.
Baja.
Bandana?
Yeah, but I think that's what.
that would have been good.
Dude,
Well, I
that's
mean, that's if you're going to be
Yeah,
put apart.
Phil.
yeah, that's what excites me the most. When I look at your vehicles, like we've done a lot of UTV stuff. You know, we do sand car stuff. I think you probably saw the sand car out there. To me, everybody always asks about the sand car, and I always explain it as being like it's the ultimate. It's every motorsport wrapped into one. It's a dirt bike mixed with a quad, mixed with a drag car. It's everything, and it's the most fun. And I think that's what, like, the Porsche, it takes it to the next level. Maybe it's not as much horsepower, but I
More
feel like
refined and
it's refined. The seating position, like the dimensions of it, how much more in control I feel like you are of it. It's just got to be. I just visualize it as being like the coolest driving experience.
I think the best, a side by side.
Yeah,
A Polaris is the best. Like versatility, sand dunes, trails, rock climbing, high speed. You can't beat that. But yeah, we're trying to get it's a balance. It's like, if you're trying to compete with the side by side, you're going to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but side by side's also not going to go to a Cars and Coffee or get on the interstate.
But the difference is,
or look cool.
These guys with money want something unique that's special and hand tailored, and that's where you go into the Porsche market. Like,
right.
Is it reasonable? Absolutely not. A lot of people are right. I get a lot of haters going, "This doesn't make any sense. Why would anybody do that?" I go, "You're right." But there's some people who work damn hard for their money, and they become successful, and they see it, and that's
name me any. I don't care what it is. Anything that you buy that's from an aspirational brand or something that you save up to buy or something that's super high quality that makes sense to spend the money that you're spending for that thing in that space. There's not a watch that you save up money for that you can't do it without something else.
Right.
There's not a fucking car that you spend money on that you couldn't get there without something else. There's there is no, if you have to justify it, then you're in the wrong fucking space. It needs no justification.
You're right.
You know what a Toyota Yaris, you know how you explain that? It's a fucking car, dude. It's $7,000. It'll get you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
best car.
Yeah, it's
on that aspect, best.
It's transportation.
You could do. Yep.
It's every single thing else from there on out. Nobody even needs to buy a watch nowadays. It's on your fucking phone.
Right.
Like, all of those things are because you want them.
Yeah.
Don't try to justify it. Well, it does this thing really better. Well, like, Bigfoot will also jump higher shit. Like, there's always going to be the thing that's like,
yeah. No, it
doesn't need
you got to hit the
justification.
heartstrings. You got to hit the heartstrings of your client.
Yeah.
Whatever that client may be, and you can break that down into a category, but you got to hit the heartstrings. Whether you're building watches or clothes, or hats or shoes or furniture, you got to hit the heartstrings of your client.
Make it where you have to have
whatever way that may be. It might be a price point. You could be IKEA.
Yeah. You might have to play a Sarah McLachlan song with some puppies or something like that.
Or
whatever
it's
you got to do to
a sick conference table that has 3,000 hours.
This is a badass conference table. This is railroad car flooring.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Heavy piece.
It's awesome.
They transported stuff in railroad cars on this.
Things.
Rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire. I got one.
Do you?
Well, I'm still on the Porsche topic.
Okay.
The worst comments you've gotten on those cars.
Oh.
Like
Okay.
people who just don't get it. That just don't get it.
Narrow it down to the time that you were like, you know what, I got a business, but I would whoop this motherfucker's ass.
The hardest part now is to be professional. I used to be able to snap back, and now it's like, no. There's a little bit of an image to uphold.
Yeah.
Say thank you or you like it.
Makes for good
And
Instagram.
be the bigger man. But
Yeah,
there was a
you
time,
give somebody a crack and it gets videoed.
Yeah. Oh, there's a time where you just go hard on him. There's common ones. Sacrilege. Like, why would anybody do this? I don't get it.
Okay.
Like, tasteless.
Yeah. That one hurts.
But
A little bit.
But what doesn't hurt is when you go to the profile and you start checking out what they're into.
Yeah.
And they're
Oh,
not-
this is
and
you're
you
talking
know
about
what?
social.
Equalizer.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
social
what?
stuff.
They're not builders.
Yeah.
Nobody that knows what we go through or like puts.
Social doesn't, honestly, at this point in the game, social media comments don't count.
No.
You have to go.
full-fledged, like a handwritten
It has to
letter.
go to. It has to be in person where you hear somebody saying something or something like that. Social media comments don't even count anymore because that shit has gotten. There's honestly people that don't even look at the picture. That's just their hobby is to go in and say stupid shit about stupid shit. Because that's just.
This is what they do.
It's just what they do.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Most of them are Russian bots, honestly, if you start digging into it.
It's interesting to me because it's like a controversial car. It's something that not everybody's going to understand.
100%.
It's just like for us, you take just a C10 truck and lower it, right? And go put it out there and be like, what do you guys think? Like lowered or stock? And you will get
Good luck getting it over
1,000 comments of
dirt
like,
road, bro.
yeah, what the fuck? What are you going to put in the back? How many sheets of plywood? How many cinder blocks? Like,
Can't take that off.
people go fucking crazy.
Not a truck
But there's
anymore.
there's the people that have always had a soft spot in their heart for that Porsche,
Yeah.
and they maybe got these dreams of one day they're going to own one, right? And that's such an aspirational thing. They look at it as like, well, you're taking in my dream and you're just fucking around with it. The same thing with a C10. They're like, I just want what my granddad had.
Okay.
I just be happy with a thing, and you're taking it. It looks to the uneducated, or for them, they just want that vehicle in all its stock glory because they're trying to relive a thing, and now it looks like you're taking something, but they don't understand.
Defacing it.
It looks like that we're fucking with it, right? It looks like that. Yeah, we're
The last 10
we're
years,
not being respectful of it or whatever. And I'm not making excuses, but that's just a lot of times it's the levels.
Yep.
The
I feel
last
like you're coming clean on all your hate speech and where it's coming from. It's deeply rooted in.
No.
The last 10 years have changed. I think that the crowd or the, onlookers are more accepting of custom, especially in the Porsche world. And you could say that for C10s. You could say that for Mustangs, Camaro. Like, why would you cut up a perfectly good classic? Like, it's different now. And I talked to Emery a lot about that. He's like, 356s, the outlaw thing. He's actually probably the OG of doing stuff you're not supposed to do to a classic nostalgia German sports car.
And now they ought to be coming back and thanking him.
But now, like, the times have changed. The last 10 years have been more like people are really accepting, if not highlighting,
Right.
tastefully done modifications, which they should. There's still these guys that are like, oh, I can't believe you cut up a perfectly good 964. You're like, there are 30,000 of them made. It's like the basic. I'm not cutting up of one of 22 RS.
But you would.
Oh, there's some cars we would. I'm waiting for that 959 client to come in. I got mine.
Yeah, we were out at Canopa's. He's got plenty of those.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
And that makes it right. Like, so I've got some drawings laid out of like recreating a street version of the Dakar 959.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
there's like a couple ways I wanted to go with it. One was like starting with the 993, which was like the closest chassis, subframe, multi-link rear suspension, the car. But I think there's some legalities with Porsche, and I tread very lightly. Like, there's a lot of cease and desist that have gone around the Porsche world,
Are there really?
and I haven't gotten one. So part of that's like, you're not paying attention to me. But part of it's like, no. Be very, very thankful that you're not on the radar. But
Who's been on the receiving end?
Most of that shit's smoke and mirrors
I can't
too.
say a lot, but most everybody that you've heard of
Has been?
yes.
Okay.
So there's ways that you have to properly classify or title or brand your car. And from what I hear, you can't take a certain series and change it to a different series. So I'm really like hesitant on the 959 thing, but I really like it's my holy grail. The 959 that won Dakar, but if you clean that up like my white car,
Yeah.
But if a guy
Clean
comes to
interior.
you with a
Now,
959
free and
says,
clear.
do whatever you
That's
want,
what I'm
you
saying.
can do whatever the
That's
fuck
it.
you want to do.
But we're starting with a $1.5 million canvas.
Yeah.
so
there's,
So let's do it. Anybody listening?
well, it just takes the guy with the right amount of balls.
We've
That's the thing.
got drawings. and
You
I've
might
got
have money,
plans to do it.
but do you have sack?
But honestly, it's not okay. So Canepa does it right.
Yeah.
Canepa will take it all apart, redo it. They'll redo the
Yeah.
turbos. He does some refinements, and it's a beautiful car, and it adds to the value. And so,
Yeah.
well, I think it's the ultimate. Like to me, like let's do it. Let's pit. Let's
would be
like
sick.
let's. It's gonna piss off the world, and like
Those are always the fun ones.
yeah,
though, you know?
why not? I mean, that's
We do it
why
on-
stop now?
Right. We do it on it's such a smaller level. Like the barrier of entry is a lot easier. Right. We're doing
Yes.
we're building a Fox body now for a good customer. It's got a
saw.
window sticker on it with 1,800 original miles or something.
Why would, dude? Awesome.
And we were gonna
No,
do it as
no,
a
it's not.
No.
No, it's not. It's not awesome.
We were gonna do it as
Honestly, I'm. You all. It's funny how the tables turn on the things that you actually give a shit about.
we were gonna do it as a survivor, and then he's like, the customers are really. He's a good buddy of mine. He's really
Good
cool.
for you. I support this.
And
It's
he's,
so
he's
stupid.
looking at it,
Fully.
and
It's
he's
so
like, he
stupid.
calls me up, and he's like, "Bro, you know how I fucking rolled." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We're fucking painting it white, bro." I'm like, "Okay." Like, are you sure, dude? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure
fuck
you
yeah,
didn't
bro.
push. You didn't push back. You didn't push back.
I actually did on that because I'm like, dude, it's so like you looked inside it, right?
We could have painted any other one white.
Well, I've never. I mean, to be honest with you, we've molested so many Survivor cars, and you've taken them down, and you're like, it's a clean car, but like you always find something. You're like, oh, somebody put a fucking quarter on it. I've never seen a car in my
An
life.
excuse to go.
Yeah,
But
I've never seen a
even
car in my life that's that clean.
my biggest takeaway, and I'm not saying it's right. My biggest takeaway from this, me and Phil talked about this a couple weeks ago out there in the shop. I have talked to those customers, on a low mileage, fairly rare, and be like, fuck it, let's cut this thing up. Doesn't matter. It's never even, I've never broken a sweat about thinking about it. If somebody could come in tomorrow and it'd be serial number 1 split window that was, Zora's personal, whatever
Yeah,
car,
thing's a piece of shit. Cut it up.
and be like, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Let's make it cool. Let's make it you. Because there's no sentimental value to me to those cars. I'm look at it what we can make. Now, a fucking Fox body, that comes in.
Oh, this is
It's 1,800 miles, especially when it's an 80s or 90s car, because 50s and 60s cars aged differently than 80s and 90s cars. 80s and 90s cars don't last, right? 80s and everything that they were built out of was shit. So you find, an 80s or 90s car that is that low miles, that nothing cracked weather strip, all of the plastic is still good. The Enduro bumpers, all the urethane. You're like, man, the interior is where it's at. I'm almost at the point of like, I don't even want to put a fucking chassis under it. Like, just don't fuck with it. Just look at it, right? Okay. Because if you don't, how about this? How about stop opening the door so many times? Because the doors only get to open. You're gonna wear out those hinges. That's the level of, but because it's such a rare thing, right? The fucking split windows are all over the place. You can rebuild it
Put your
16
chassis
fucking
under it.
times, put a chassis under it, put it whatever it is. 2 years, come back and we'll change the color of it. Who gives a fuck? But that is and I never planned it. It's not like I was thinking about, oh man, a low mileage Fox. It's when that came in, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Honestly, had no problem putting a chassis doing that. Like, this is really gonna be cool. There's gonna be people pissed off, right? Oh, who gives a shit? We put a chassis and a motor in, you know, low mileage. But when you're like, oh, we're stripping it, we're going to paint it. It's like, no, if you're going to fucking paint it, if you've decided to paint it, find another car to paint.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're going to keep it original and build a Survivor out of it and keep the outside, then keep it that way.
You gonna paint that one?
Yeah.
Window sticker?
Yeah.
No, leave that.
Yeah.
He's right, but just put a chassis under it though.
That's where we started with it.
Put some.
Yeah. No, it's too late now. Yeah. That thing's fucked.
Yeah, we're fully committed.
Honestly, it's no different than anyone you find on Marketplace now.
Oh well.
It's really clean.
Yeah.
Be a great scuff and shoot.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up wide bodying it, chop the top or some shit.
No, we're not doing any of that. It's straight. It's Dutch Boys.
What color was it?
It's the maroon with the silver lower.
It wasn't a great.
Can you
color.
redo that?
But didn't need to be redone. It was
No, but like
fucking perfect.
add some flake to the maroon. Like, can you play on the original?
You probably could. I think it's just so. Look, it's the whole.
Basically, what the dude should have done was buy a fucking white one.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
It's the whole deal of like you want the thing that was. You remember from your era, like your you know, high school or your
He has a vision.
20s. Yeah, so that's what he remembered. It was a fucking. He probably
Can you
saw
surprise him?
and leave it the same color.
No, not leave it. Do a play on.
No,
what
it has to be
was.
white. At this point,
pearl white with like a flake metallic maroon.
I think he's pretty fixated on all white.
Don't do it. Just surprise him, dude.
Yeah.
no, at this point, it's ruined anyway. It's already been fucked with. Who cares? Paint it 15 different colors. Fucking tie-dye it, for all that matter. It's, man.
He paid like
Really?
Is it
35 grand.
already? Is it already blasted?
it's blown
Yeah, we
apart.
haven't. We've disassembled it. We haven't touched the paint yet. But the gaps on those cars are so bad. I mean, it looks like you could stick your fist through one gap and then
Here we go.
You know the solution
Here
to
we go.
this, right?
No, we're fucking
Yeah,
gapping.
carbon
We're
fiber
gapping
doors.
No,
the
no.
fucking
The whole
door.
solution.
We're gonna gap it, and that's it.
What are you going to do
Gap-
about the bumpers?
We're leaving them.
So you're going to gap the doors, but not gap the bumpers.
Yeah.
The solution is the
What about
proper
the
render.
taillights?
And you got to do your job as a salesman and send him the render of, I know what you want, sir, but this is what it should be.
Of what? What do we?
This Fox body.
Yeah.
No, that's how the last 3 or 4 we built for him have gone. It's him and the customer are a bad combination.
No, we're a
Just feed
good
off each
combination.
But yeah, go,
Yeah, for
hey,
this car.
I know what you really want. We
Yeah.
normally do what you want. And we appreciate it, but here's what this should be.
Dude, I'm like.
Sign here.
Oh yeah, I'm in the business of making dreams come true. You know.
Well,
At the end of the day,
the facilitator needs to stand up and go, here's your dream, sir.
at the end of the day, the white is the best color. Everything that he's wanting to do with the
just
car
started with
is no problem.
Yeah.
He's the vision. Everything that needs to be done is fucking perfect. Gap the doors, gap the fucking bumpers. I don't care. Build the fucking hood out of titanium, right? Do it all.
Hard to do.
Okay.
Just don't do it with that car. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you were going to do all of that, there was no reason to start with that car.
I think, dude, you're starting to sound like the dude w's bitching
Okay,
about
hold
him
on.
cutting
What
up
is
a Porsche.
what is yeah, but what is
I told you when I started
What is
that I
this
couldn't
donor?
believe that it got.
what does this donor cost?
30 grand?
So find a 20. You're
It's
right.
too
You're
late.
right.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not too late.
No, it's already been
No,
It's
no,
sanded.
you got to no.
No, we
sanded.
haven't. No, it's not.
can put
that
that-
too late.
When you're dealing with Fox body, once you pop those quarter glass out,
It's over.
It's like you meeting your girlfriend and be like, I've never been with anybody. Well, I mean, there was that one guy. Well, it's
They use protection. Dude, it's rubber. They use rubbers.
yeah. Well,
yeah, I'll tell you what.
I don't know. Like if it's not too far gone, put it back.
no, it's no putting it back. You
ship
can't put the
sailed.
genie back in the bottle.
Why don't
No,
you
it's
guys,
gone.
you and Phil, talk to Scott about it?
I did. I tried.
Okay,
There's
so
no-
it's not me.
Yeah.
There's literally. I'm go back to my same exact thing. It's like
This was a
Can you surprise him? Like eat 20
I'll go
grand,
back.
Eat 20 grand.
I'll go back in
Go
time
buy
on
a
prom
new-
night and not do it. It's that thing's fully fucked. It's
Eat 20 grand. Go buy a new donor.
That's what I said. He
Give
would
him
never know.
this.
we had
But-
one.
I
We
know,
had a
I
fucking
know.
white one sitting there, like
Put
literally
his-
8
put
feet
his
from
car,
it.
Put his car back together with a chassis under it. Give him that one and go. By the way, he's.
I don't think
he's
Elon
a
Musk could
previous
put that thing
customer,
back
right?
Yeah,
together
he's
now.
got- we've
Not the
done
way
a
it
ton of
was.
Okay,
cars.
so
Great dude.
what if you just accidentally built him two?
He'd probably be okay with it.
That's what I would do. Buy him a new one. Pretend that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Put his one back together with a.
Stock, but
With-
with the
with
chassis.
The
What you
problem
can with
is
the
all
chassis.
all of this talk it's just doubled down and made Scott want to do it even more. Now he's like, fuck it. Yeah, fuck. Yeah. You know what? I didn't want a convertible, but chop the motherfucking top off.
Just surprise him. Go, here's your car. He goes, oh, it's everything I asked for. And you go, and we saved the car that we shouldn't have done any of this to. And here's this. And he might be like, that's really fucking cool. I'm glad you did that. Thank you for not listening to me.
Everybody's going to have that thing. There's going to be a time. There's going to be something that you'll be like, oh, man, really. Maybe it's the LeBaron. There's going to be something that comes in that you're like, this is a time capsule.
So you saying you think I've mishandled it? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You should have said, we can build you everything that you're wanting to build.
Yeah.
100%. No problem. Paint it white, paint it multicolor, make it light up at night. Don't give a fuck. All that's cool. But if you once you decide to do that, there's no reason in starting with that car. Yeah, the whole point whole point when doing that car was to leave it exactly like it was. Like, holy shit, it's so fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Because now you've lost everything that you started with. Because it could have just been a damn Facebook find.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, financially, it works out in the end, though. Like if Phil was going to make a case,
I was sticking up for him and going, but now I see your side.
Well, let me reel it back. Let me pull it back to my side. Like if Phil was going to make a business case for it and he wanted to put it on paper,
this is a tightrope you're walking here.
No,
on
it's
this
not
one.
Because take the white car that we've got and you want to repaint it. Okay,
yes.
It's a nice car.
Yep.
But you're going to have to sandblast it. It's had some accidents. It's had some repairs. You need to patch the front rails. There's some rust. There is some rust. There's some floor pans. There's some this and that.
100%.
Okay, so take the labor. What's the labor? Let's say you spend 2 weeks on just patching that back together. Where are you at? That car was $22,000. This car is $35,000.
Oh, so you're telling me
to start with,
we're in the process of saving that cut. We need to save the customer money. We need to.
He's in the green.
We're not. No, what we're looking at from a business.
We saved him 15 grand.
Well, you're trying to say this is not a good idea. Which from a time capsule standpoint, yes,
100%. That's all I am.
But it's like a fucking Probe GT, dude. It's a dime a dozen.
Oh, careful.
It's a dime a dozen.
Careful.
That car came in. It was a $35,000 car. We were more scared of that than $1 million car that we've built. Right. I mean, just
you can't
trailering it. Yeah, trailering it. We were like reading Brian the Riot Act. Like, make sure you tie it down this way, that way. Get like 5 spotters. There's like 8 guys watching it come out of the trailer.
Was this a car went over auction on Barrett?
No,
he bought
one that was like a low mileage.
He just found it at some dealership.
All right.
Wow.
I tried, dude. I tried. You can't argue with me.
Yeah,
surprising.
For once he did try.
Yeah, I was like, Scott, let's leave the wiring. Let's literally treat this as like a motor swap.
Build him 2 cars and then go the bill. Give him
the thing is, I understand. Did you ever tell him you can have everything you're wanting, Scott, but just let's do it with another car. Let's not start with this car. There's no point in starting with this car.
I did. Yes, we presented him with the other vehicle, and he's like, no, bro.
Hey.
Well, then you just do your thing.
That's it.
You guys do your best, and you make this, what your company's known for, and forget that there's a window sticker on. Hey, can you take the glass off with the window sticker and like frame it?
I think so. It's the window stickers on it.
Leave it.
Yeah. That's going to be one of those things that like
frame the whole car with the window sticker.
At the tail end.
It's a frame. Here's what you have left of what you should have done.
Yeah,
it's honestly it's like it would be like me going and getting the Doberman that I want, and then being like, what I want is a Dachshund. So cut them legs off and make it shorter. I should have just bought a fucking Dachshund in the first place. Why take a Doberman and chop it down? Because it's just gonna be a fucked up Doberman. But you can.
Okay. I don't see the analogy there.
I mean,
because if you wanted to paint one, start with one that needs to be painted. Don't fuck with a perfectly good Mustang.
I'm going
to be a little bit of a bitch.
But a Dachshund, that's a fucked up dog. I was just my buddy.
You should have started with a fucked up dog.
Yeah, I was just at my buddy's house the other day.
It's a short-legged Doberman.
Bought a Dachshund. It's got
who got a Dachshund?
Mixter's brother.
Really?
The craziest little legs on that thing.
Oh, Beanie?
Beanie's got a fucking Dachshund, and it's like, dude, it's a mutant. It's like, it's fucked up.
Did you ever see Brooks's dog?
Oh, Brooks's dog was the worst dog
ever.
It was Basset Hound and Lab.
And Lab, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was
full size Lab with Basset Hound size legs.
It was like a bad Photoshop. It was like you took just a regular
section,
a regular Lab, and you're like, fucking take this out and put these on. It's an ottoman. It was an ottoman.
Hearing Brooks talk about it, like, yeah, is dude from Alabama, old Southerner. Yeah, funny thing about it, Dad was the small one, Mom was the Labrador. So figure out how the hell that happened.
She had to lay down. All right. We're still in rapid fire.
Yeah,
boy, that was a fucking tangent.
Long rapid fire.
Yeah, a little bit of a tangent.
That's fine. Not a big deal.
I blame these.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
happens.
happens.
It happens.
what happens.
Fire away.
Pastrana
Oh.
or Metal Militia?
Pastrana.
What? Backflip.
Pastrana.
Just Pastrana in general.
Overall.
Really?
Yeah.
So you also rode a
no
Suzuki?
Hate, no hate on. I mean, that's you're going like
I'm older.
broad steering
I'm
brand
older.
versus one guy.
Okay.
You need to understand what
Twitch versus Deegan.
Deegan.
Okay.
Twitch is they're fucking killer guys. But
Yeah.
LBZ
okay, you got to
or
understand
Shift?
what Pastrana was. You got to
Did you say
understand
LBZ or Shift?
Dude, I just threw away my shift
this
freestyle pants like 6 months ago. Cleaned
There
out
was
the
a
garage.
season I rode LBZ baggy shorts because I got paid to go jump at monster truck shows, and the styles back then.
They were sweet.
It was
I had the
something
That
else.
was
I mean,
your
blue.
same
You know,
your
here-
same era. That was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm
very
gonna say
similar.
Shift because Jeff Emig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emig was a hero and he ran Shift.
Yeah, I had shift pants.
Yep.
I had the LBZ pants shift jersey.
Yeah.
Eminem jersey.
Evil Knievel. No, but you were talking about Pastrana. What he has started and evolved and facilitated will never be touched.
That dude can just about do
Anything.
anything
Yep.
Yeah, he's
except pull a chute fast enough.
From a young. Did you see that? Did you see
Ooh. That's-
what Jim
can
Conn-
he
what
can
Jim
bounce,
Conn
though.
hasn't shown you?
it wasn't his fault, man.
No, that was.
It was
He was
fully his
he was
fault.
trying to flare out at the
Oh.
bottom and like do this big glide across. You're talking about the crash from
Yes.
Jim Conn.
Yes. Oh, right out of the. It was like a
Dude,
wow.
Just like
You don't-
late flare. He went to go do his thing and flare out and come in, and it just slammed him. And it was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
it was brutal.
what a crazy career.
What that guy's gone, yeah. And I wish I could call him a friend. I'm close, somewhat.
Are you really?
No, well, somewhat. I spent some of the best days of my life was next to Trav and some of his guys. I got to do the Nitro Circus deal.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the MGM episode where there's this dumbass in a single seat buggy that jumped the freestyle ramp?
No. That was you?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
I endoed. I jumped this is a go-kart, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
450 engine off the freestyle kicker in the MGM. 75 feet. Landed it. I probably practiced it 20 times in practice and had it nailed just by sound, right? There's no speedometer.
Yep.
450 engine. You feel it. Third gear.
Yeah, just getting it.
It was huge. And then the show comes around and the crowd and the lights and I can't hear. And I grab gears and up and then the landing's gone. And I jumped 90 feet to flat concrete in the MGM in a little go-kart with a cage. And I had a 5-point harness, not a 6-point.
Yeah.
Balls.
You were talking a little higher after that.
Balls caught everything. So I built this
Oh,
for the purpose. So let me backtrack. I was trying.
I can't get that
So Reese
fucking feeling out of my.
Millen tried to backflip a truck. Remember?
Oh,
Red Bull?
yeah.
I wanted to be the first person to backflip a 4-wheel vehicle.
Reese Millen, Steve Millen's son.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
From
I built-
Stillen.
I built this trophy cart.
Yeah.
Right, 450 engine, long travel suspension, and I had these cantilever front suspensions, like they pivot
Okay.
and push. And the inside was one of those AP Racing air jacks. To
Okay.
lift IndyCars up.
Yeah.
2 bottles, 2 paintball canister bottles.
Yeah.
2 paintball canister bottles of CO2, nitrogen, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The theory was to go off the ramp, suspension compresses, hit the button, and it basically launches you into a backflip. That was the theory, right? So we went to testing at Nitro Circus, went out there, hit it a couple times. Wasn't quite dialed in, wrong ramp. But anyway, amongst all this testing, I ended up hitting the freestyle ramp at 75 feet in this little go-kart. And Trav was like, this is fucking awesome. You want to come to the show in MGM? I'm like, yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I'm going to nail it too.
Backflip doesn't work. But anyway, I got to the point where I could 20 different times of a normal freestyle kicker in a go-kart. And it landed. It was awesome. So here we are in the MGM. Lights, crowd. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking nuts. Travis is behind me. Let's fucking go, Trav. There goes the landing. Well, I built this thing with like whole chassis chromoly, except the bumpers are mild steel made to fold. Came down 90 feet flat on concrete, and front bumper collapses like it should. Cartwheel, cartwheel, cartwheel. I'm okay. It's like, yes, I made it. I survived. Well, the 5-point harness caught everything because I landed like face down. So instead of the harness going leg to leg, it was full crotch. Oof. It split my balls.
But you,
In half, dude, brutal.
you ended up having kids. You're fine.
Yeah,
That was
apparently. So I thought,
was that post kids?
huh?
That was post kids or pre?
Pre.
Oh, so
Yeah, it
everything
works.
was good.
Yeah, it works. It works. But yeah, that whole scenario got this whole thing started, and a friendship with Nitro Circus guys, and
He got a new switch,
Trav
like a left and right switch.
and
He had to-
did a couple different ththings throughout the years. But yeah, like Trav's like instrumental. There's nobody in action sports that has the impact that he has. Like
It's,
hands down.
I mean, rarely do you see any sports, forget if it's action sports, traditional sports, rarely do you see somebody, crossover.
Whatever he
is-
touches, he
it's not just like, oh wow, he can also be okay at that. Yeah. It's like, holy fuck,
He's just a freak,
great.
man.
Yeah,
He's
great
well,
at
it's like-
rallycross,
he's just
great at this,
Great
great.
talent.
Yeah, you have inherent talent, but you also work at it.
Yeah.
Right. None of this like
He's got a work ethic.
moto,
obviously.
work ethic, driving, work ethic. Stunt, whatever you do, you put your mind to, work ethic. So that translates into anything. But yeah, hands down, what he's done for action sports is like next level.
Favorite Krusty movie?
Ooh, God, I grew up.
It's gotta be 4.
Crusty demons.
Honestly, like I ran those when they were on VHS.
That's what
We ran them
Yeah.
until the tapes were done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had the actual Krusty 4 VHS, but then I had the sleeve. That was where
Yeah, that's what I was.
that's where I
I'm like,
that's where I
sorry, are
hid
you
that's where I
talking
hid
about-
something
Are
else.
you talking about that the actual Crusty Demons of Dirt, or what? The green
Or the-
tape, the green VHS that
Were
was
the
in the
pages
sleeve.
crusty or
Yeah.
was it?
Do you remember that same all-in-one TV too that made so the TV and the VHS?
Yeah.
You never
Yeah,
had
that's
that.
what we had when we were kids.
Yeah, I think all
Yeah.
teenage boys. I think that was what you got.
Yeah.
Why was the rewind like
Oh, the
so
loudest.
Oh, loud.
Dude, when you would hit pause, and
when it hit into high gear.
Full gear change route. It was not meant to go this direction.
it was like
FMF pipe on it.
that fucker had helical cut gears in it.
Only in reverse. Like we never meant it to go backward. We just
Right.
wanted to play nice forward.
It was louder than Jeff Greening's quick change in his truck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You guys grew up on Krusty and
Yeah.
Terra Firmas.
Yeah, all that
dude,
stuff.
epic.
Yeah.
So I was in the South. So all that Metal Militia was because I'm
was all West
46.
Coast.
I'm 46, but
Okay.
that was way more popular, at my high school kind of ages, right? So it was just the hardcore part of it,
Yeah.
right? I was drawn to, but that and I was big into more than street bikes. So
Okay.
the Star Boys videos
Yeah, Starboy. Oh, yeah.
from Ohio.
Oh yeah.
The Star Boys videos, I cut my fucking
Didn't fuck with that.
that was there's probably a few people out there listening that know what I'm talking about. There was nothing better than that.
Really?
It was nothing but it was same kind of thing as like Krusty,
Party
right?
video.
Just party videos, but there was this group of this bike club in Ohio. It was the Star Boys, and I mean they'd have their bikes wrapped in nothing but like crazy leopard fur or whatever. That's kind of where my hair idea came from, right? And just I mean nothing but 12 o'clock down the interstate. I mean it was just the craziest fucking shit, and I thought it was the coolest shit. So that's what my came from, like street bike stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there.
I worked at a dealership, and I remember selling those. We get them when they come in from the distributor.
Yeah.
You always got to watch them. You put them on the TV.
Yeah.
At the dealership, so you could sell them.
Yep.
It's like, dude, and at that time, well, you're a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in high school,
Oh yeah.
and you're like 16. You're like, fuck, these dudes are.
Oh, it was just nothing. I mean, dyed hair, fucking Starboy's vest, and I mean, crazy, graphicked out, painted fucking street bikes.
Oh,
and
the
just
days. God,
fucking standing on the back pegs, just
We never felt
8, 9, 10 of them. Yeah.
It was wild.
It was the fucking coolest shit. Favorite or most memorable? We always say favorite, but that's kind of stupid. Most memorable law enforcement interaction story.
Ooh, I've got two.
This was Jeremy's idea. He brought it up
is
about
so-
a year and a half
this is
ago.
so
It's
good.
been
I think
it's been
our
fucking.
best- I think it's our
I've
best
got-
segment.
It probably is. Yeah,
I've got two that have changed my life, and they all happened.
it's a good one.
They
If
all
it
happened-
changed your life, it's a good
yeah,
one.
they all happened 2 weeks apart from each other.
Oh yes.
And this is when I knew I had to stop drinking Jack Daniels. No joke. I don't know. I should tell this. I'm supposed to be a professional car builder.
Dude, it's
No,
Dude, this is
how
a-
it starts.
this is
people
a-
like
yeah.
people like dealing with
right.
a real person.
Early 20s. One of my best buds lived down in Hermosa Beach. I spent a lot of time down in Hermosa Beach.
We got to kill that bottle if he's gonna fucking autograph it.
He was a
Yes.
he was a mentor to me. He was name's Mark, and he worked at Picture Car Warehouse with me.
Okay.
And he was like
So you gotta kill it.
He was the brain mechanic.
Yeah,
When I was
we gotta
some-
do a bottle kill.
A dumb 20-year-old. And so he lived in Hermosa Beach, and there was this era where I liked to drink Jack Daniels, and it made me 6'5" Brad Pitt, and I'm 5 foot nothing.
6'5" Brad Pitt would be cool.
That's what it was cool, and I'll tell you how it happened. So, the middle of the week we would go down, and I swear this was a Tuesday or Wednesday. We go to Hermosa Beach, and there's a place called the Underground. And it was a bar, and we would close it out. He had beach cruisers, long fucking bikes, go beach cruise. Tuesday, like 2 o'clock, closed the place down, and this bar was on an alleyway.
You and Dickies at that point?
Shorts.
Dickie shorts.
Dickie shorts.
All right.
You never
California.
Chucks or Vans?
California Vans.
Okay.
Checkered flag.
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to
flag.
get. All right.
Checkered flag Vans.
Okay. All right. Checkered flag Vans.
Red
I'm
Limp
getting-
Biscuit hat.
No. Easy.
This is yeah.
So we
Black
would,
or blue
We
only.
would chain our bikes to the stop sign. It was him and his girlfriend, just three of us, middle of the week. No reason to be shit faced on a Tuesday night at all. Stupid. So we closed the place down, hammered Jack Daniels all night, and I'm trying to undo the lock on our bikes to this stop sign. And I start wiggling it, and the whole stop sign wiggles.
Oh. Well.
And I go,
Yeah. Let's see how.
stop sign comes out of the receiver in the ground.
Yeah, that's their problem.
Fucking
honestly.
awesome, dude. We're in the alleyway of this beautiful Hermosa Hermosa. Beautiful Hermosa Avenue. Get on the beach cruiser, and I got this 12 foot tall stop sign.
Yeah. You should have locked it down better. That's their fault.
Straight
like
up.
he said.
No, straight
Yeah.
up. Like
Yeah.
it's not like I
Shoulda
cut
anchored
bolts.
it.
I didn't cut bolts. I
Right.
just
No.
lifted it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I decided we're gonna take this home. So I got it on the beach cruiser. Okay, and it's a custom beach cruiser, like not the tall boy, lower, like
This is,
here.
this is
Hard,
white
like-
white Debo
Dude, hard
rolling
enough-
down with this fucking stop sign.
hard enough to drive sober. Like your heels hit the ground as you pedal. So stop sign, couple 15 feet. I get momentum. I fall over. Bang, 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 bang. And these guys like get back up, laughing, just dying. Bang, 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 bang. And Mark and his chick are like, he's stupid. We're like out of here. So they're up ahead. They're up the street. So they live down this alleyway. You got to go up the street because Hermosa's on this hill, right? And then
That's the worst part about bicycles.
yeah, uphill.
Fuck.
Can you believe it? Can you believe that? Can you believe it? So finally,
That's why they invented motorcycles.
finally get this thing upright. But I've fallen 3 or 4 times in silence at the beach, and so somebody had called the cops at some point and heard this
Okay.
commotion, and I couldn't believe it. So I got
Silence.
this 12-foot stop sign under my arm, holding it on the handlebars, and I'm pedaling. Well, somebody called the cops, and my friends are at this point blocks ahead of me. It's like, we want nothing to do with this idiot. Cops had pulled them over. I didn't know this. I'm still finally got my balance right. I'm going.
So they were asking them about a dude on a
They
bike
got
with a
stopped.
stop
First
sign.
of all, they got stopped first. They go, we heard word. Let them go. Whatever. So I'm pedaling. I'm about 100 yards from the intersection where I just got to get speed, go up a half a block and over. Finally balanced. I'm tacking. There's the intersection. It's 2:00. Nobody's out. I'm just doing this, and then there's some headlights coming. I'm like, dude, they're gonna see me. I have a stop sign. They're gonna see me. I get in the middle of the intersection. Car stops. It's the cop car, and I can't stop. I joust and I run into this. No joke. Swear to God, my best story. I run full speed on a beach cruiser into the front quarter panel of a cop car with a stolen stop sign, hammered on a bicycle.
Yes.
Boom! Dent it, fall
That's
over.
pretty good.
And I'm like, and I've gotten away with a lot of shit.
Oh, you got your
But-
grab. That's
well,
you grab
I
the
go- and
grab the
tonight-
neck. You grab the neck instantly.
Tonight I sat down and I go, I'm going to jail tonight. And I
Well, it's not, it didn't have a motor. It's not a motorized
you
vehicle.
can't ride a bicycle hammered. That's
Really?
it's a RUI, riding while intoxicated.
Are you serious?
Yep, 100%.
In California or nationwide?
Anywhere.
No shit.
Hammered.
But at that point,
on top of that, stealing a stop sign is a federal offense.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And then I hit a cop car
Okay.
but the
Yeah,
cop pulled out in front of you.
Yeah, you should have been
in the
standing there.
intersection. Yeah, he didn't yield.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'd
you
have
had-
I'd
you
have grabbed that
had the
neck.
He
I'd have
didn't
grabbed
obey-
that neck.
You clearly didn't obey the stop sign, sir.
Oh! Yeah.
Anyway, hit him, fall over, gets out of the car. You got to be the dumbest motherfucker I have ever seen. I go,
Or
yes,
the drunkest.
Yes, sir. I go, yes, sir. And my hands are in the air like I'm armed. Like, I don't know, like 22. Hands in the air.
Well, you haven't met many people then. 'Cause-
Yeah. He goes, give me your license. I hand it to him. He goes, are you part of those guys up there? I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't know. He's like, where did you find that stop sign? I go, I just found
Flea
it.
market?
I just found it. And so I'm sitting there like on the curb and I'm 100% with myself. I'm going to jail tonight and I deserve it. There was no fight. There was no like, I don't get it. This
Yeah,
is
you're just gonna
bullshit.
give in.
I go, yeah, I gave in. And I'm sitting there and he's running my shit and I hear 895. We got a code. Fuck. I'm just listening. He goes, where are you staying? I go, right up there. He throws me my ID. He goes, go home, and peels out and goes on to a call.
Oh,
No joke. I'm
this is
sitting
in L.A. or
So-
Colorado?
Hermosa Beach.
Oh, yeah.
At that
sitting
point, you
there-
had a decision to make.
You know my decision.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
bringing that stop
Are
sign
you?
home.
Yeah, the stuff.
Yeah.
I walked it home. I walked a bike, so I wasn't riding under the influence. And I walked up into the apartment with
Fuck
the stop
bike.
sign.
Fuck the bike.
And they fucking shit. They go, we got pulled over. They suspected that we stole a stop sign because there was a call coming in. Anyway,
Because at that point, like
that is my best.
your math is going through your head. Like,
Yep.
I mean, what are the odds?
Yep.
I'm not gonna get jacked again.
Dude,
I can see
This-
the house from here.
Turned around. Why would I give up at this point? I'm not a quitter.
yeah.
Yeah. So we took
That's
that thing.
good stuff.
So that was week 1.
Well, first of all,
It was a life
Where'd
changing
the-
lesson out of that.
no, I want to know where the sign's at. That's a huge one.
They ditched it. They were so scared that they would have cops come back and ditch it.
Man, that sucks. Because
No,
that sign's got a story.
If I would have only known now, would I knew that?
That stop sign itself, people would have come in the shop, be like, "Oh, cool, you got a stop sign." Be like,
Like, no.
not
There's
just
a
any
story.
stop sign.
You see the bent, you
Yeah.
see the bent top corner?
"Yeah, look at the back. I've written it in Sharpie
That's
exactly."
that's LAPD black on that
That's
corner
like
right there.
Johnny Cash's ragged old flag song.
Yes. You're like, oh,
Got a hole
Yeah.
from the birthday gun.
you've never listened to it, obviously, huh?
Yeah, that's the best story. There's another one after that, but that's
Get into it. We don't have anything but time.
all right. Our our group of guys, we went out every night. We had a place in LA, Hollywood, 5 nights a week. We were closing down a bar. That's just how it was. So we just played Hall at the Moon, Universal Studios.
We got a Hall of the Moon.
Yeah,
in
Universal
Chicago.
Studios. So we go park in the underground parking, go finish the night out, whatever. And we're sitting there waiting for valet, and there's like a whole row of golf carts.
That's dangerous.
Security.
Serves them right.
And we're just
golf carts.
Same thing. Jack Daniel. I blame.
They
Do you have
left
any
a
Jack?
key
Do you
in
have any
one.
Jack in here?
If you leave the key in a golf cart,
Your own fault.
you were at blame.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when Jack's involved.
Yeah. Even
it's negligent.
honestly,
Look over.
stone cold sober.
Yep.
If there's keys left in a golf
it's
cart,
fucking negligence.
it 100% is.
Yeah. Shame on you.
Yeah.
And if I'll go a step further, anybody that walks past a golf cart that sees keys in the ignition
doesn't
and
fuck
doesn't
with
do
it.
anything with it,
Shame on you.
yeah, 100%, 100%, shame on you.
Yeah.
Stone cold sober or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about a family, a preacher with 4 kids. You walk past one with the keys in the ignition and don't do anything. We don't need you here. Exactly.
Okay.
Get in it. Do something. Hide it. Do whatever.
A skid, anything.
Dude, Kyle's wedding. Me and Wyatt were wandering around looking for golf carts with keys in them.
And
We went past
this is the voice of reason.
6 or 7 of them didn't have keys in it. I'm like, sorry, dude, we can't have fun tonight.
This is the guy who at his wedding, I stole a golf
Oh
cart.
yeah, you shouldn't be doing anything with golf carts at weddings.
I
after
stole
the
a
story.
fucking golf cart at his wedding and got it stuck in the at the beach in the fucking sand, and the whole fucking crew was chasing me down.
Good for you.
Yeah, but you,
Yeah.
not my fucking problem. I didn't
steal it.
steal
Keep
it. I
it
didn't
in it.
fucking hotwire it.
my duty.
I didn't hotwire it. The
If
keys
you
are in it.
if you leave the keys in it, it's basically like a sign of being like, oh, you want to go?
I did my duty.
That's what it's saying. Hey, you want to try?
It's like walking up
I
like
did
the
everything
claw
you asked me
machine.
to.
Yes.
It's
And
like
the-
walking up the claw machine.
and
There's
it's
one
on.
credit left. You're like, oh, I'm not going.
There's a ticket in the arcade. Yeah, I know what you do.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes, that's a great analogy.
Anyway, stolen.
Yeah.
Okay. Valet, security guard carts, hop in one. I do a lap around the valet and then park it. And nobody said anything.
Oh, that's
So
kind of
number
wasted.
2, right? Yeah, you should
Yeah.
yell at me at least or go, what are you doing?
Right.
So hop back in it. And this was the time of the beep beep, the
Viper.
Nextel?
Nextel.
Push
Oh.
walkie-talkie. No, the walkie-talkie button.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All my boys had that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You'd be in the meeting and they'd be like, boop, boop, hey, fucking check out. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Anyway,
I
so
love
hop in
my
this and
buddy
do,
to walk
do
in
another
the
lap.
convenience store.
Yeah. Doing another lap around the Universal Studios, and he goes, bleep, bleep. He's like, dude, all points bulletin, like, ditch the car. Everybody's after you right now. And I got it. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm going down. If you guys have never been to Universal Studios in LA, it's a main area and the giant downhill, 2 lanes this way, 2 lane up. It's like 1 in, 1 out.
Yeah.
And then giant hillside, and then where it ends is a 20-foot tall fence of where Universal Studios, like all the crazy rides are. So it's like super protected. And this thing, all points bulletin, ditch it. I'm like, oh shit. Like, so I look around, ditch the car, and then run and jump in this bush. It's on the downhill, like 10 feet off the strip. And I'm like hiding. I'm in a white button up. Pretty much glow in the dark. Just consider it glow in the dark. White button up, hiding in this, and you hear like all point bulletin, and then like flashlights all around, and all of a sudden a flashlight goes blink. Like, oh, we got him. He's like, yeah, we got him in the shit. I'm like, shit. I had a black undershirt. I peel off my undershirt, pull the button off, and then I run downhill. So the only place I could go is downhill, and it's 45 degrees. And I'm running, and through tree branches, just smacks.
That adrenaline again.
And it's
That
like,
adrenaline.
It's like, be quiet, they'll hear you. Dude, I broke 2-inch tree branches, just fall cartwheeling down this thing. And I get to the bottom, and it's like, boom, 20-inch chain link fence with like barbed wire. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, you're
no.
not getting past that.
So I run down the fence line, and there's these, like, I call them eucalyptus. I don't know what they would have been. These giant trees with big leaves. And I'm like, all right, I've seen these movies. I know what to do. So I start pulling these leaves, and I'm like ducking out, and I'm hiding.
It's fun making a ghillie suit.
straight up ghillie suit, and I'm hiding under these like tree branches. And I can hear them walking around me. They're like footsteps. They're everywhere but where I'm at, and I still got the the Nextel. I'm like trying to turn the volume down because they're gonna go bleep, bleep. I'm like turn it down. Turn it down. Okay. It's like, and where I'm at, I can see the stop sign of where you leave Universal Studios. I'm just ducking down. I'm like, God, please don't. Like I deserved it last weekend, but I really deserve it this weekend. I'm like,
this is the weekend after.
And as I'm doing this, I'm like, I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm like, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm
We've all had those
conversations.
conversations.
It's not right. Just let me get out. Let me go. And I go. I'm hiding, but when you guys go to the bottom of the hill and the stop sign, honk the horn and have the door open. And so I'm just waiting. There's footsteps, flashlights, and they're all over the place. And I hear in the background go, meep, meep. Boom. And just start running down the fence line, hop in the door, and was gone. And we got out.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Out. No crazy, no respite.
Good escape story.
No escape. Yeah, that's my story, and that was 2 weeks in a row. And that's, to this day, I don't drink Jack Daniels just because of that.
I
solely blame.
The promise was JD. It wasn't like I'm going to stop drinking.
No.
Hey, cheers.
No.
I have drank Jack Daniels.
I've never drank Jack Daniels just because it tastes like shit.
Well,
There's
whatever that shit has in it, dude, is possessive.
Really, I don't think I dislike it so much. I don't think I've ever actually.
You should, and that's part of it. If you give in to that shit,
it fucks you up. You think?
Yes.
Is it?
I get you hear it all the time.
It's the
It's
worst.
got.
Really?
I think
It's
it's
the
it's got the devil in it. It's got a little devil in it.
I'll drink a lot of whiskey at night and a couple glasses.
Yeah, I never got.
cubes.
I don't fuck with it just because
I've
it
never
tastes
had
bad.
Nope.
Tell you what'd get me crazy. That's why I don't do it anymore. It's fucking Zimas. Man, when I used to crush Zimas,
Really?
oh man, that's Zimas are.
Dropping a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Was that with you?
Did you go get some? They brought it back a couple years.
Well, yeah. Was that
Did they
with
bring
you?
it?
Back
Are you
at the
serious?
Dunes?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In Silver Lake.
Yeah,
A couple years ago, they're like Zimas are back,
Dude,
and I know
in the
all-
original glass bottle.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you only know of that if you're between the ages.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Fuck
40
Zima.
and
Give me
45.
clearly Canadian. I'll be good all day.
Dude, have you had one?
A clearly
recently?
Canadian? No. I just remember.
Okay, they have it still. I had one not long ago. It is like drinking like straight sugar.
Oh, really?
Oh my!
Do you remember that from
Yes.
the back in the day?
Dude,
I used to
go
think
my-
it was the best
I used to
thing.
go to my buddy's.
I used to
house.
think I was high
Those
class.
like the big teardrop.
I used to
Yeah.
think
It was a
a
teardrop.
strawberry. Yes,
No,
strawberry
and
Canadian.
Noah
clearly
Pettit.
Canadian.
Noah Pettit used to have the black cherry, clearly Canadians.
You felt like an adult.
Well, it was high end.
Yeah, it was high end.
I mean, it was class.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It was middle class.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, it is. It's
Sweet?
not
Palatable.
Really?
If you drink
I don't remember them being
today-
sweet back then.
Oh yeah, but the fucking Zima that was we got down with it at in the dunes.
Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, we did. I've got videos and pictures of it. We fucking Jolly.
Yeah, I know. I know. You don't. You didn't have to take video, but I did it.
We Jolly Rancher.
That's cool.
All right.
Wow, that was
Next
that was
question.
Two
Yeah,
fucking
next
great
one went on
stories.
far.
Next question. Those were good ones.
I'm so glad you asked that because only my close boys know that story. But
Those were
it's such
good
a
ones.
one.
Those were good.
Anybody you tell you
Where you want to go with it next?
just
Well, I'm trying to think through. Like we've had.
We got a lot of stuff.
Well, I've had some good police interactions. You've had some good ones.
Haven't had any.
nothing driving.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, like as you'd
Have you
think,
had
like we
any-
all.
Nope.
yeah.
Is there one? No, there are. I know of one.
Do you?
Yeah,
Colorado.
but we haven't shared. Have we shared it? Has it been shared?
I don't think it's ever been shared.
Statute of
Oh,
limitations
100%,
allowed you
yeah.
to share this.
I think it's still in the statute.
All right.
But it's funny.
No,
like,
it's
what-
not.
because-
You got charged. I can't. There's no statute.
The court already.
Well, when they come up, everybody.
the court already told you your punishment. You're okay to tell about
When
it.
they come up, everybody shares them. Like people bring up it's part of it's a segment of the podcast, and people bring it up.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like
I think it was season 2.
it may have been.
Yeah, episode 14.
All right. We don't. I mean, we don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Short story. You got charged with the first word of how they keep track of books at the library.
Interesting poll on that one.
So only smart kids are going to figure that one out. What you got charged with?
Nobody's listening knows that.
I mean, we
He's
moved
stumped.
past it.
I'm not. I'm like.
Yeah.
You know what they?
Okay, continue.
How do they keep track of books at the library?
Dewey Decimal System.
Right.
Dewey Decimals. Wrong class. That's
Time release.
It's fucking.
How do they keep track on a?
Oh, he's right.
got it.
He's right. The Dewey Decimal System.
The
Yeah.
DUI decimal system.
All right. Favorite car movie, or because you were so influenced by two-wheel sports, you could also transition it with best
Dirt Bike Kid.
Dirt Bike Bikes movie.
Ooh.
Do you remember the Dirt Bike Kid?
Now, are you talking influential or just
Your favorite. If you were
epic?
if you were to sit down right now, you'd be like,
awesomely
"You're gonna go watch it."
Horrible.
Either.
It can be horrible. 100% it can be horrible.
Winners take all.
Winners take all. I don't remember that one.
It was the worst motorcycle movie ever made, but best because it was the only motorcycle movie that was ever made
What kind of motorcycle?
about Supercross.
Winners take all.
Winners take all.
What's the
Ellie will have to look that up
Yeah,
right
you
now
gotta
and give
look
a
it
little.
up.
He'll give it a little.
I couldn't even
clip.
give you the actor's name.
Winners take all.
Yeah, winners take all. Oh no, I take that back. Rip. Delete that.
Okay.
Fresno Smooth.
Fresno Smooth.
Never heard of that either.
To go watch it tonight.
Really?
Is that another motocross movie?
Oh yeah. Emig was in it. It was a movie.
McGrath?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Emig. It was a comedy / like hit on Supercross.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Ellie is going to find it, and he'll do a little clip right now.
I ain't going to the wall chase. Going straight to Fresno, find a bar, sit down and drink some fat-ass Jack and Cokes, and be hitting on some filthy white trash hookers.
If these moto punks think that they can take over my town and use it as a stage for their tomfoolery, they've got another thing coming.
We got a big motocross free ride contest coming to town.
We're going to keep all available units on call.
You're going downtown, son.
You got your ass whooped by some motocrosser?
Shut your hole, woman. Run a sweep for Seth. Motorhead, riding in the damn street. Don't just stand there. Move.
Everybody go watch.
Last but not
video.
Any Given Sunday.
No, I know that one.
Yeah, no, that's enough. No, if I were to be like, Any Given Sunday, it was the most.
I got you.
Steve McQueen's the
Freestyle
best.
motocross video that we used to watch all the time. Started with McGrath doing a wheelie on the fucking train tracks with Megadeth Symphony of Destruction playing.
Terra Firma.
That was Terra Firma?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Knack Knack's good.
Oh,
good
it's
jumper.
Good jumper. Yeah. It was a bunch of like Swedish kids that they're like interviewing him, and they're like, "What do you think of Jeremy McGrath?" And they're like, "Oh, the Knack Knack's good. It's a good jumper." Like what?
You remember this?
Yeah.
That's been one of those things you just routinely bring
Yeah, well,
up.
we fuck around like Phil. We'll be out fucking around on dirt bikes and stuff, and like he'll rip a Knack Knack or something and be like, "Knack Knack's good. It's a good jumper."
125 or 250.
Ooh.
Or a 450.
No.
Two-stroke or 450.
I'll answer that real quick.
That's
Two strokes, baby.
Dude. So let me ask.
450s are for.
All right. Let me ask.
I know.
you.
450s will fuck you up.
450s are for. 450 is like an F250 on Thornbirds. That's
Dude.
compensating for
All right,
something.
I gotta
450 is too big of a bike for anybody.
Aside from like
Two-stroke, baby.
Just shut the fuck up for a second. So I gotta ask you a serious
Let's
question.
finish that fucking bottle.
Let's finish that. I gotta ask you a serious question. So I go every week, pretty much every weekend in the summer, and my son rides the 85, right?
You don't ride. You watch your son ride.
So I watch, and I like as a younger teenager, I rode
younger.
a bunch. So he wants me to ride with him, right? I've got a 250 two-stroke. Done.
Oh, new take on it.
I've got a 250 two-stroke, but I've got to get into something that's like
Old manish.
old man. So I'm looking at either the 150
feminine.
two-stroke
No.
KTM
No.
or the 250 four-stroke. What do I get? I need something that's easy. Like I'm not trying to fucking hurt myself, right?
Something with a headlight, maybe some hand.
Well, no.
Hold on. No, are you trail riding? Are you
No,
track riding?
Track riding, a little bit of trail stuff, a little bit of dunes.
So like a mountain bike.
No.
Okay. Don't.
But I've been a
bike's cheaper
two-stroke guy
than
my whole
Don't
life.
ditch the two-stroke.
Just stick with two-stroke?
Get a desert tank.
Okay.
Put a light kit on it.
Really?
Yeah.
And what a 250? Do I go with the 150?
Well, I mean,
250 is a lot of bike.
I've got a
250 is a lot of bike.
WR 450 now. Like,
okay.
You ride a 450?
oh yeah.
That's a lot of bike.
No, they're.
But I've got a I've got a 250. I've got a YZ 250 right now.
Okay. My favorite bike ever. Best times of my life were on a 125. If I could
Relive the glory
not
days.
have kids and not worry about broken wrists, I would have a matching 125, 250, YZ 01, 02.
But I'm in the same position
Just
as
for
you.
nostalgia.
I don't want to fuck myself up.
All
I
right.
want I'll hit a little tabletop.
Do you want street legal?
No. But I'm
not?
a rip a
Dual
little
sport?
tabletop.
Dual sport?
You can't drive on streets around here.
Yeah, here you can't do anything.
With a
like
dual,
nothing
with a
cool.
with a plated bike, you could.
No, we're straight going to tracks. Like just tracks and dunes.
Okay.
That's it.
Ooh, man, you're in a. I would say 250F.
250F.
Yep. 4-stroke.
Oh, you think
Yep.
so?
Yep.
And KTM or
Yeah. You know what? Okay. KTM makes a nice
The full
300.
face helmet.
Are you partial? Are you a 2-stroke guy?
the lift
well,
off.
I'm only a
'Cause some
two-stroke
people
guy.
are,
I'm not partial. I'm only a two-stroke guy because that's
what
what
we're
I
used
grew
to.
up with.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, but I'm not like I don't-
KTM 300.
Okay, I don't have like a lot of skills.
No,
I'm
that's
just
fine.
like I'll like
300.
rip some
You,
little
you still get 2-stroke feel.
KTM
Smells.
300.
Yep.
Yeah,
300.
smells are key.
In between,
Little pre-mix.
more than a 250, less than a 450.
That's probably
It's the best
that's a
all
that's
around.
a great idea.
Really?
Yep. 300.
Perfect.
Can you do the recluse clutch on those?
Well, so I have a WR 450, which I love.
KTM says I like nice
recluse
things too.
clutch,
And
recluse clutch,
Yeah.
light kit, street legal kit. I can take it anywhere I want. It's mellow if I want it to be. I could probably go launch some triples if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
WR 450 is an old, I feel, old man, like everything I need bike. But it's because I wanted a headlight and tail light, turn signals.
Gotcha.
Because in Arizona, it's a big thing.
Well,
like
you can
you
use
can
it.
street legal your side by sides, your bikes. Like
Yeah.
where I'm at, my favorite part of the morning is like driving to work and you got a side by side next to you.
That's cool.
Dude, it's awesome.
we'd be in
It's
trouble
awesome.
in Arizona.
yeah. Oh, I'd be
Yeah,
jumping
well,
no
we drove
traffic.
that little
Full
little
two-wheel drive,
stretch
yeah.
that
On
we
the way
did.
back?
Yeah.
And I saw that cop and I was like,
Yeah, get a 3.
I think you were like,
Oh, the downward facing.
when they're down.
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, you mean business.
Yeah, 300.
Fucking TJ, it's been absolutely fucking awesome.
More questions. We're not done.
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what
we can go.
else you got?
Best piece of advice.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Live at the shop until you build your business.
Do not fucking quit.
That's
If you see anything in your life that you find passion in a bit of motivation,
Don't quit.
dude, and I'm going to say this politely, do not fucking quit.
That's solid.
That's 100% solid, and it comes full circle.
Keep going. Yep.
Do you?
It's
I mean, how would you have ever got that stop sign home if you would have fucking quit?
the first got it. Like commit. Honestly,
Fucking commit.
Sometimes it's, even if you're apprehensive, just fucking start.
Well,
Just
when I was laughing about when you were talking about, we've got similar stories and we've all had crazy stories. I live by the motto, Phil gives me a hard time. Everybody knows my motto. No matter what it is, my thing is, what's the worst that could happen? Well, I'll always say that, and Phil will generally tell me what the worst thing that could happen in that situation. I'm like,
Well,
all right, yeah. Now that you made that point,
that
but
actually
it's the same.
sounds pretty
That
bad.
sounds pretty bad.
Risk to reward.
But when the worst thing that could happen happens, and then you're free and clear, you're like, fuck it.
Only room for success.
Free time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think it out. Like, I mean, obviously it's not, you don't throw,
Full caution to the wind.
yeah, you don't throw full caution to wind just because you have a stupid idea. Like you gotta think it through.
Yeah.
yeah.
But when in your heart and in your brain it makes sense and it's something you're passionate about, there's so many fucking awesome things in this world that people have stopped halfway through, whether it be support, emotional support, friendly. Maybe it's their own self-conscious saying like, maybe you should stop. Like, don't. Keep fucking going. keep going. If it's something that you're that passionate about and it makes sense. Now it has to make sense. Like we're probably doing a double standard here, and I'm gonna, we're gonna go back and say, oh, you should have stopped this, you should have stopped that. But at the end of the day, like everything I've ever done or pursued, it was all in. And I could tell my dad about it, and I could tell my friends about it, and none of them made sense of it. None of them supported it because they didn't see it. Anything epic in this world today was not done because it made sense and because it was easy. Nothing.
This is a new one.
What do you
just thinking about it? So you're obviously never going to change the outcome, right? You're never going to change the process. But imagine you got 20 years to go back, right? Any point in time in those 20 years, you get one get out of jail free card, for lack of a better term, right? It doesn't change the outcome.
Yep.
Just what would you go back and tell yourself prior to a situation?
Heavy. It's fucking heavy, man.
Yeah, fucking deep, Joe.
Believe more.
Believe more?
Yep. On the topic that you said, if you look back and you go, is there anything that you regret?
When were you doubting?
There's been lots of doubts. But when you go back, if you're like, if there's anything where you go back and you would change, it wouldn't be that none of my regrets would be believing too much.
You go back and give yourself fuel. You go back and give yourself fuel.
Any of my regrets now would be you didn't believe in yourself enough. It wasn't none of my rewinds would have been you went too hard for too long. None of it. None of it.
That's cool.
All of it was you didn't believe in yourself or you didn't give yourself enough credit. None of it was you went too hard and you went all in and you believed too much in yourself. None of it.
Wow.
None of it. All of it was like, oh man, you had a really good idea back then and you pussed out. And I know why you did. You had friends that maybe didn't believe it, or even yourself, it didn't make sense.
See, that's why I stand by my what's the worst that can happen?
Not once was it because I followed my heart and my head. Once.
That's really good advice. It really is.
All of it was you didn't fight or you didn't go hard enough.
Phil gives me shit about the what's the worst that could happen all the time, right?
Well, they're never like life-changing decisions. It's should we park here? What's the worst that can happen? Should we jump that? What's the worst that can happen?
Dude,
it's mostly
I'm firsthand experience with what's the worst that can happen.
You're always going to be the worst. Whatever it is that can happen, it's going to be the worst.
Yes, my best buddy Finn, I gave him one of those
it was a horrible combination.
It was one of those standard like.
You can't name what the worst that's going to happen.
Right. Well, no, it's just a standard like parking situation. We lived in downtown Chicago, and he's like, "Dude, do you think I can park here?" I'm like, "Dude, what's the worst that can happen? What, are they going to fucking tow it?"
Yep, that's always the worst.
Famous last words. You know what they do?
They tow it.
Yeah, they fucking tow it.
Yeah, you had to pay to get it out.
Yeah, they towed it.
Yeah,
it's a process when they tow it.
What about take enough of me?
Yeah.
What's your greatest risk that you look back on and you had two choices, two avenues?
You had one shot, just one opportunity.
How about this? Make it easier. One regret and one thing that you're like grateful that your old younger self took a chance.
Oh, one regret, I've said it before here, is not joining the military.
Okay.
Always be my one regret.
Honorable.
Yeah. I wouldn't have made it. I know that I wouldn't have made it, but I would have at least have.
Because you're a bitch.
No. But this goes back to what I was talking about.
That's fine. I might be a bitch, but I know the
not
thing.
Committing.
I would not like to be claustrophobic, and I would not like to be underwater. Those two things, and I know I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Right, but I should have tried, because you see a lot of bitchy people like fucking make a career in the military.
Yeah, you just want to do G.I. Joe stuff. You want to do like dive rolls and like
100% wanted to do G.I. Joe shit and play with guns and play Army.
Yeah.
My adult life.
Okay.
100%. No shame in admitting that.
And LARPing isn't like fulfilling that for you?
Well,
No, because there's a lot of shit that I can't get.
It turned out okay.
That was my biggest regret.
Okay.
What was the other one?
One was
Something
the
you could go back and
regret
change?
on something that or something that you look back and go, that made sense, and like that was it was purposeful. Something you don't regret. The best thing you ever did. A fork in the path, like a fork in the road that you.
I had
Might have been growing the business or taking a chance. I like this because I analyze myself a lot.
what time is it?
Doesn't matter.
There's probably nobody listening. There was years ago, years ago, I was unmarried and working at a shop with a couple of my close friends, and I had four four different directions to go with my life, female partner
Pam,
wise.
Sally, Jessica,
There was
and Karina.
four different women at one time, and
That's a lot to juggle.
one of them was my current wife, and there was a discussion at the shop.
Okay.
Man, what this shit's getting like fucking crazy, man. I gotta start like settling down. And there was
How long ago was this?
there was like a pros and cons board.
Really?
You had to lay it out.
Hey, does she know about this?
I don't think so.
It was in the fab shop. I couldn't have seen it.
She's not listening to this.
She's not. Yeah,
What's the time right there so we can tell when to cut it out?
it's 2 hours and 52 minutes. I don't give a fuck. We're married.
Okay, so
she won.
pros and cons.
Trophy.
Pros and cons.
No.
You said
No.
there was a pros and cons.
Yeah, there was a pros and cons board that we went through.
All right, let's hear the cons.
So it was relationship based.
Yeah, it was
This fork in
kind
the
of.
road to make a decision on your.
Yeah, there was
love
like,
life,
hey,
personal life.
all right, like fucking
important.
partying.
That's
You
important.
got a bunch of different, Yeah, I like to. Again, back to what's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen was starting to happen, right? So we needed to I needed advice, so I asked my buddies. I'm like, hey, let's narrow it down to like.
Was it just a rash? Or?
Let's narrow it down to like at least 2. Let's take the 4 down to 2, and then we'll reconvene in a couple months.
Yeah.
So she won out twice. Fucking good for her.
Yeah.
Honestly, she should be fucking.
Was there like a bracket, like a Final Four?
It was a bracket. There was. I wish we could have found that. It literally was a board. We used to write on the glass in the showroom with So we had everything on the glass of. Well, this one does this. This one. Are you serious? She does that? I'm like, yeah, for real. She does that.
Well, that's an important part of even business. Like they say that the woman that you bring,
Oh, that's important.
I honestly
the better half of you is a very important part of your business structure. And I feel that now. I see it now.
dead serious answering your question.
Not talked about a lot.
I am the worst person to ask for advice because I have generally most all the decisions that are to be made, I've made them the wrong way the first time.
You learn.
And then you learn from that. And I don't know.
Most people don't get to
I don't know
learn.
how my kids turned out the way they are now because I have always put fucking me and work shit fucking first. But at the same time,
this is a great topic. Actually.
I set expectations really low.
This
So I'm like, happy birthday. And they're like, oh, fuck, you remembered? I'm like, yeah.
This
Fuck
topic,
yeah, I did.
This topic needs to be talked about more often than not. And it's the balance of life and business. Love life, family life. Like, this is hard. This is, I'm sure you all sit here and you talk about builds and you talk about this, but like the most important, the hardest part I think of us industry is we know how much effort and focus and attention it takes to build our brand and to build cars and build products, but nobody ever talks about the balance. Like what I want to learn from people that I want to find motivation from is like, how do you balance and keep a happy family, a happy wife and kids when your job requires 90% of your attention.
There is no balance, man. I mean, the reality
They all sacrifice.
The reality is there's no fucking balance. You have to get started young. You hit it fucking hard as hell. And it's a sacrifice. It's a fucking sacrifice. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And you have to sacrifice, and you have to hit it fucking right. And then in the tail end of it, you have to hope that like
they see you
have to hope that there's some success, that there's some success there, and then later on in the relationship, you can spend that time with the family.
I'll go as far to say there's in this industry, automotive wide. I don't care if you're building cars. Hey, you about to drown? We can wait for 30 seconds. It won't take long. If you're in the industry building cars, if you're a fabricator, if you're a salesman, if you're working at a distributor, whatever it is, everything about this industry's got different levels of request on your time. I would go out on a limb to say there's not a single fully successful person that also has a needy woman.
Yeah.
You might have done okay.
They've sacrificed.
But you have not meet your expectations by catering to a needy second half. And you can only be as successful as secure as your woman is.
We'll let you.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
This
is a good topic that probably needs to be talked about more often, because if you ever, people look at podcasts and it's entertainment, but there's also some inspirational value in a lot of it. And I think that this came up. I didn't have any plans on talking about this, but there should be more conversation on how you're able to blend family, business, convincing your significant other that you're the focus, right? That's the hard part. I get a lot, that.
How are you going to tell that? How do you convince them that you're picking?
Everything is around you.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, and it's a hard thing to say, but it's kind of like, yeah, it is. Like there's a big part of what I are and what we are that pivots around me,
what you've done
in my time and what I've done. And I guess you bring your significant other along for it and make her part of it. But man, this is a conversation that doesn't get talked about enough, because
I think
if you were to break it down, I would think any successful Ring Brothers, Foose, like you go through the names, I would assume they're all single. Because there's no
Ring Brothers aren't.
They're not. Yeah,
they got some badass wives that stand behind them,
and they're honestly, they could be sitting in these two chairs right now and giving some feedback that I think a lot of listeners would want to hear, and especially me. Because it's the thing right now is like how to blend and balance.
Well, let me fuck with your mind even more.
All right, let's hear it.
Do you think it's the other half's responsibility or burden to bear what we're talking about, or our responsibility on the front side? And I'm not saying I've done it the right way. However, I've always, for right or wrong, better for worse, gone into it with the lowest of expectations, right? And I've tried, and I'm not saying I'm a good guy for it, but I've always said, I'd rather be an honest guy than a good guy. If I can only pick one, at least I'll be a fucking honest guy, right? And I've always tried to set the expectations realistic. Yeah. And I think that most of us as men try to set the expectations because we're salesmen, right? Especially if we're in this industry, we're going to convince customers. We're like, everything's fucking awesome.
You got to convince.
Dude, I'm gonna be there for your birthday. I'm gonna be there for anniversary. I'm gonna be there for that. Knowing damn well, push comes to shove, you're gonna pick the fucking car, or you're gonna pick the business. You're gonna pick that over it. Yep. I think, again, this is drunk Josh talking. If you set the expectations appropriately at the beginning, you're like, I'm going to tell you what, if you want to go along for the fucking ride and get what you get when you get it, 100%. But I'm going to...
That's a hard talk.
It's a fucking super hard talk,
Yeah,
and
they
most
don't like to hear that.
Most people don't want to have that
don't
talk.
like to
So
hear that.
so if most people don't want to have that talk, and you go into it, be like, oh baby, I'm gonna give you 100%. You mean more than the business. Who's at fault when you pick the business?
Yeah. You can't.
Or is it
told
you?
Her, you told her once she
You
was
to-
it.
you
and now
sold
it's
her
it.
fucking
Yeah.
one thing,
Yeah.
and you did another.
Yep.
At least be an honest shitbag.
Yep.
I know I'm a shitbag.
No.
I know I'm gonna pick like
You're going to pick work?
I'm gonna pick work.
Well, I think we have to because, like, at the end of the day, you go, well,
It's just
my work provide what I'm focusing on provides
now
you and the fam. You know,
the caveat to that is as time goes on. I mean, I'm 46 years old. As time goes on, the transition
We're running out of it.
And I'm running out of time. The transition has to happen at some point.
yeah.
You can't live your life forever not transitioning. Now there's a time where you're like, you have stuck it out.
Yeah.
You've done yours.
And they expect, and they're pretty patient,
Yeah.
and they're and that's.
But
what I think
you've got to give back.
at first they don't get it, and here just my experience. First they don't get it, then they realize it, then they see the passion, and then they become part of it and want to help you.
But don't most women at the end of the day?
and then at the end, and then it kind of transfers into you build into something that can support itself, and then it's for the greater good,
Right.
right?
Don't they just want to try
but-
to make you a better person at the end
Well,
of the day?
that's the thing.
You're a
They got
project.
project.
Yeah, they're trying to build you like you're trying to
They're
build the
your project.
customer's car.
Fucking deal. That's it. That's it. And you gotta.
Like, I'm an 1,800 mile Fox body, baby. You can't rebuild me.
Window sticker. Hey,
The way I am.
I'll be honest
You're
with
that
I'm an
290,000
1,800 window
mile
sticker. Honey.
You're like a Midwest, like found it out in the back
square body.
woods. Like that fucker's like,
You're
I don't
lucky.
know.
You're lucky. I even picked
You're like,
you
I don't
out
know.
of the.
It's a little rare.
That's not-
But maybe we can bring it back.
I know you're trying to be mean. That's not right. You know you shouldn't say that. I'm not that.
I think it's a
wore
good
out.
analogy.
I don't think so.
You don't think?
No, I disagree.
You think you're more like a barn find?
Ooh, diamond undercover.
Yeah,
underbox
I'm like
books.
that. I'm like that.
You're like some sort of
It's like
rare,
an old Yenko just sitting.
Yeah,
sort of rare, fucking obsolete, low
I'm like a- yeah.
mileage.
Yeah, I'm like an early
Numbers
Dino.
matching.
I'm like, oh my god.
Ooh, early.
I think still.
Whoa.
I think still.
good.
I think-
All we got to do is polish it up.
yeah, exactly.
new segment.
We'll take that to R&M.
That's a
Fucking
new-
make some money.
That's a new
Mondale.
That's a new segment. What are you in a car?
Dude,
That's a new segment.
that is.
Are you a garage
That's good.
find Dino, or are you?
Have we brought that up?
No, that's
new
a
seg-
great
new
one.
segment?
Yeah, I mean, I
This
think
is
a
good.
Mondial is a great.
This is good.
That's
You think what?
Mondial is a great
for me.
one for Josh. Didn't
Better
you say
than
that?
the Charger?
No, the Charge is good
What are you
Or the,
That's
or the
you're-
Challenger?
what are you in
Fucking-
car
You're an
form?
asshole.
in car form.
in car form?
Dude,
It could be like 5 years ago. I was a barn find, and now
shit, that's tough because you don't want to sell.
You're a
like-
Fiero. You're fully blown. Fiero.
You're a
okay, well, explain
new
why.
old stock.
Well,
So it's
explain why.
That's
mid-engine.
not going to end up well for you.
No, this could be a good.
Mid-engine, you're like, oh fuck, that's cool.
This could be the best shit
But
talking
just,
ever. Also,
just,
could be.
just so small, you can't really do anything with it. But people try to do all kinds of shit with it.
the Pinto. You could be hit from
Yeah,
behind.
I mean, that's tough to come back from. That's probably one of your best.
I'm a Ford
shots.
Pinto.
That's pretty good. It's actually pretty good.
Oh damn, that thing's fucking like European. No, it's just Pontiac.
Ford Pinto. So you would say you're a Ford Pinto? Why?
No. I'm just saying there's a conversation about being hit from the rear end and exploding. that's another. And being pulled from the market.
That's tough, man. To try to classify yourself as a vehicle.
Put
It's
some
saying
things
a
into
lot.
perspective.
It's saying a lot.
Put some things to.
You know,
are you a family wagon? Are you selfish in a 2-door sports car?
That's saying a lot. It's very definitive. I don't know.
That's a good one.
It's a very good one, but I don't know what I would. I mean, I honestly don't know how to answer that.
I'll start. I feel like I'm a bit selfish, straight up.
Okay, so what
I
would
get,
you
I
be?
get called my wife, and Narcissist.
You ever been called narcissist?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
hey,
for
fucking.
Sure. No, I mean,
Yeah, I've lived my whole life
like,
being called that.
at the
I
end
don't even know what it means, but I've fucking been called it.
Yeah, like,
fucking,
it makes you
shit
think.
ton.
It makes you think, but at the end of the day, like there's also a bit about a narcissist that
I think it means good looking.
completely focused on their,
And smarter than everyone else.
completely focused on their track and their trajectory.
Yeah. So what would that make you car wise?
Well, we'll just break it down little by little.
A motorcycle.
No, probably maybe. Maybe.
Exactly.
Hayabusa.
Fucking Busa. Stretch Busa on 360.
It's not. I'm not family. Okay, two-seater.
Two-seater,
Sports
not
car.
family friendly.
Sports car. Very rough around the edges.
Okay.
You don't understand.
A fucking Viper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Will it kill you? Will
yes.
it kill you?
Yes.
You need to
You better be
respect it.
careful.
Yep.
You better fucking be careful.
Yep. Needs respect.
Those dry rotted 305s will spin you out in
at
a
its
minute.
at its time was one of the most epic American-made.
You're a Viper.
Maybe.
We've just diagnosed
But
it.
I feel like there's a little bit of old blood somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's a Mopar.
Early first
V10.
First gen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
100% first gen.
First gen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want. I mean, that's cool. I'd be
It's
curious.
not a Fiero.
No,
Definitely not a Fiero.
I mean, dude, you insulted the hell out of me, and
Come on.
No, I'm gonna take it on the chin. Like that was honestly, you did well. You did well.
Are you
That-
suburban?
That was insulting. But I'm curious. I want to hear
This
you.
is going to be edited out. I'm just guaranteeing it now.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say anything. I want to hear you walk us through.
Walk it.
What I am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not bringing it. I want to hear you. Your point of view.
I'll commentate. I don't
Your
know you well
perspective.
enough to be a judge, but I'll commentate.
This one's going to take just give me just a second. We can cut out the spaces.
A little bit of narcissism.
Yeah.
Little bit.
That's
little bit.
that's
of
super smart and good looking, right?
You look out for other
Wife
people.
calls
though?
me that.
Do you look out for other people? People that help.
If they're in my way, what do you mean look out for them?
Well, I mean, do you have 2 back seats? Like, are you willing to take some people who help you along the way?
Are they going to
Or
help
is it-
me?
Yeah, or is it straight up? No, driver's seat.
No, I got room for
All right, we got 2.
I got room for like 1.5, 2
Okay,
people.
So we narrowed it down. 2-seater.
The Chrysler 300 two-door concept car.
Man, I don't really know.
Nostalgia. More. Do you have more old blood than new blood?
No, I could see it being like I think you're right, but
Do you wanna
even
build do you wanna
even
build
in
a
the
Ferrari, or do you wanna build-
even in the 2-door concept, it's not side by side. It's one of the ones. It's like a torpedo.
Oh, 3-seater, 3-seater middle seat,
Where
3-seater
somebody's sitting behind.
middle drive.
Yeah. It's a Chrysler
Center drive.
torpedo jet looking
concept.
concept.
Yeah. Only makes sense in concept form.
I mean, you can sit back there, just like
Shut the fuck up.
Just because I can see your feet doesn't mean I want to hear you.
Yeah, I think you're an anomaly, dude.
yeah. I mean, I'd probably be better off just to be a motorcycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Triumph.
57.
No,
Trike.
fucking triumphing. That's fucking America, man. America.
Keith Black.
Yeah, we're
Harley.
yeah. It's a Harley.
I think. Okay. It just it finally hit me.
The trike.
It's the fucking Boss Hog with a fucking 1071 blower on it. It's
I
just,
can't. I
The
can't.
V8.
Oh no, it's way too much fucking power to even control it. That fucker is.
The Boss Hog.
Yeah.
I
It's
can't
like-
deny
it's-
that.
it's a Boss Hog.
No,
and you're like,
no,
oh,
no weaving in and out of decisions.
No,
just straight ahead.
It's just straight
But
ahead.
it's the
ahead
one.
at
It's
unnecessary speed.
it's not a 3-wheel. It's an actual motorcycle.
Yes, it's
but
an
it's got
actual
the
motorcycle.
it's got the car tire, the
was a-
radial in the back of
it
it.
was
It's a
It was
fat.
a V8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
295.
Well, yeah.
No, you're sitting on
You got
top
flames?
of a V8.
You got flames?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Bobby Alloway.
It's yellow with flames.
OG
V8.
flames.
All right.
Yeah. But that
Next.
Fuck yeah!
I mean, we were right. It
Hey.
wasn't insulting.
I cannot. Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's super insulting, but I cannot deny it.
It's just barely under control, right?
we get here right now,
Just barely under control.
Have you ever driven one?
No.
I have. I've rode a Boss Hog before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 3-wheeler, though, right?
No, I've rode that. It was a '57 Chevy 3-wheeler, but I've rode an actual 2-wheel
ZZ4?
Boss Hog. Yeah.
ZZ4?
Yeah, ZZ4. The 3-wheeler was an LS. Hell yeah. It
Those
was
don't
fucking
count,
full
dude.
blown
We're not-
LS1.
We're not talking trikes.
Yeah.
How do you keep the boss hog up? That's like,
Speed.
What do you mean?
yeah.
You just sit down on it. It's got a fucking tire that big. It's just like a 3-wheeler.
It just
You just
stands
ride. Yeah. All right.
Next.
Phil.
Are you going to peg him for a car?
Yeah, we're gonna peg him
And don't peg me. Please don't.
for a car.
Oh.
Family man. All right. First question is family man.
Yeah. 100%.
Narcissistic on 1 to 10.
Yeah, obviously 10.
10?
All right.
No,
I
don't see him as being narcissistic.
I've got Phil.
We're all narcissists.
I've got Phil.
What do you got?
This is just completely my take. So Phil is a really well restored Army Willys Jeep, where it's like,
Why?
because it absolutely will get the job done. You're like, man, that fucking does not look cool doing it.
Thank you.
Bare necessities.
But it's like there's nothing else you're gonna call for the Willis Jeep to get the job done. What else can do it?
But no style. Does that? Can you add some style to it?
But he's gonna grab the whole troop and bring the troop along. But it's always like,
So,
you gotta fucking
Unimog.
ride in the Jeep.
Unimog.
I don't want to
Unimog.
fucking ride.
Unimog.
I'd take the Unimog.
Unimog's fucking cool.
A little more like.
Well,
No, the Unimog. The Unimog.
He'll pull everybody.
The Unimog's saying something when you're like, that's big and bold, and
So
Phil's
we're-
not big and bold and
we're
boisterous.
family focused.
Phil won't
Right.
pull the team with him.
We're family focused.
He will pull the team, but he's not gonna like
I'm not going to show
say
off doing the tip.
exactly. He's gonna take like 3 or 4 guys, and you're gonna like get in the Jeep.
Slow.
It's a Willis Jeep.
You'll
It's
get
gonna only
there.
go so fast.
I know, but I feel like he's more than a Willys. I'm just sticking up for him. I feel like he's more of a Unimog guy. I feel like he'll pull. I feel like he'll pull.
To be honest
I don't
with
know.
No, Phil's not moving
here's-
fast.
A Willys is gonna pull.
Not in a
like
bad way. It's just
4 guys.
Here's what I think, and this
Some
might
ammo.
this might be a little out there, but
submarine.
no, I
4-wheel
think- I think
drive
it's-
Econoline.
Well, that's a cool. That could be a little too badass. New Cadillac Escalade V with he used one of those little pneumatic fucking units to chisel the emblems off. With it, it's just the little 3M adhesive left on it.
Efficient.
Doesn't want everybody to see that it's a V,
But everybody can tell it's a V.
but they know it's.
The adhesive is still there.
there's a little- yeah.
The dust stuck
There's
on
a
the
little
sticker.
adhesive
All right.
there.
It's like, dude, that's a base model. No, that's a V. Fucking, he popped the fucking emblems off. That thing's fucking good.
That's where I'm
I
at.
dig it.
Oh, there's fucking
And-
nobody listening right now.
Everybody, dude, it's
They're still
replays.
listening.
The West of the Rockies are
It's
still listening.
replays.
Yeah.
Replays.
They're in a different time zone.
Right.
Yeah,
And
west of
obviously,
the Rockies
I'm
plays
just like
later.
I'm like
It's
a
all
Hemi
replayed,
Cooter or like a 454 Chevelle or something. So we'll just move on.
You-
What else is it?
Oh,
What
he
else
wants
we-
the easy way out.
Are you most mad that the Fiero was an accurate description?
I don't know if it was. I mean, I don't know if it was.
All right, tell me why you're a Hemi Cuda.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'll roll with the Fiero.
No, you're
I'm
better
easy.
than that. Let's fight.
I'm easy.
Fight for this.
I'm easy.
Fight.
Yeah, but you really, I mean, you honestly think,
Okay, level narcissism, 1 to 10.
well, you guys tell me.
No, I don't know.
There's 2 of them. They're around
is
me
up.
more. The level of narcissism.
From your wife's point of view?
Yes,
or-
from my wife.
The thing about it
that's
is,
always
from my wife's point of view, level of
always a 10.
narcissism.
you're an apologetic narcissist. I'm an unapologetic narcissist.
Okay.
So
Do you carry your people with you?
yeah, he's gonna carry the people he loves with him.
Loyal, you carry them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Maybe
so.
a four-seater at minimum.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
Now,
can-
if
But
you're
sporty, but like, is he like you're with me or
I like
you're
your-
not?
dude, I like your
I'm going
thinking.
100
I like where
miles
you're
an
going.
hour.
Yeah.
And you better fucking get it.
but he's got the fucker's got trap doors in it. Because you could be
Ejecto-
like, I love you, I love you, I love you.
ejecto-
What the fuck do you say? Clink, clink. And you're
Ejectocito. Okay.
fucking
Ejectocito.
gone instant.
Okay, that's easy.
That's just the way it is.
Maybe it's a plane then.
Okay.
Maybe it's not even a car.
Are you straight and narrow or are you recklessly full speed ahead?
I like to think fucking full speed ahead.
Reckless?
In control.
Or strategic?
In control on the board.
Strategic.
Everybody in the fucking car is scared shitless.
Well, they always will be.
Yeah, everybody in the car is scared shitless.
yeah.
But I believe that he's in control.
Strategic or just
Maybe it's an It's for your plane, a plane. It's an SR-71.
Could be. We could go
test plane.
We don't have to limit our choices to
rigged for passengers.
This could be boats. This can be a boat
with the
and also an airplane.
with eject seats.
Like I don't fuck with planes, so maybe like thinking about a boat might be better.
Oh, okay. If you're all right, I don't know
four-seater
all about boats like you know.
Well, only because I don't fuck with planes.
So if you were gonna call yourself a boat, let me hear what boat you would be.
Dude, I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't have a boat off the top of your head that you would call yourself.
Stay on cars.
Dude, I'd like to think. I mean,
You're going to call yourself a Top Gun. You're going to call yourself a Top Gun.
No, I'd like to
36
think like,
concept.
I like to
A
think
Baja.
like
Miranda got that one.
40 fucking one Apache just sitting there just cackling with two fucking
All right.
1,200 horsepower big blocks. Just, you know?
That's
what I visualize.
Right. And we're not narcissists.
I gotta pee.
The reality of it is maybe like, I don't know, like a Bayliner. Anyway,
20
No,
Apache
you're-
a
Bridge.
Bayliner with an Avenue.
You're
with
a
an
formula.
Avenue with a couple.
Dude, you're a formula.
No, that's insulting.
Yeah.
No, you're better than a Bayliner.
That's insulting.
No, a formula looks fucking cool. Everyone's like, that's fucking race boat.
You could be a
Yeah,
A
but
Bayliner looks like shit.
can
Yeah,
be
but a Bayliner, it's like it looks like shit. You know it's shit. You're like,
No.
the dude just
you
just
could be
out.
a pontoon with like two blown 454s.
Yeah, Jerry is
Okay.
a pontoon. I appreciate
No.
everybody for.
You got out of that quick. You saw that and
Yeah,
ran.
you're a tri-tune
no, fuck
with
you.
two 400s.
Dude, those are badass. Don't.
Yeah, but with quilted quilt diamond tuck seats.
He's the pontoon guy.
All right. Thanks for listening. See you again next week.
Gentlemen.
Oh, first of all, we got to.
And we killed the bottle.
We killed the bottle. This is the Old Elk Double Wheat. This is from the guys at the Fab Shop over in Island Lake.
Yeah.
Fucking gift over the holidays.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, fellas.
Ryan and Kevin.
Hey, great to
Thank
be
you,
here with
boys.
That shit was
for
fucking
coming
good.
out, man.
Appreciate it.
Fantastic bottle.
The
of
double
bourbon.
wheat. That's an 8.5. If you see it, you better fucking buy it.
Buy it. Absolutely. Anything
That's a
old
solid
elk,
bottle.
grab it.
See you again next week.